Logan.
Me. Logan.
Logan. And
Yep.
Logan will work me in at the video wall through the vMix, so you guys don't have to worry about anything like that. Just a heads up in that regard.
Yep.
In the vMix computer, yes.
Yep, there's a tornado warning. Good call, Joe.
Yep. Yep, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Do you have 24/7 radar by chance?
No.
Okay.
You might just be able to go to live lineups and have it, or... Hey, I'm meteorologist Logan Schlotman. We are cutting into your programming to talk about a tornado warning over for Adair, Adams, Cass, and Taylor County for the WOI and also KCWI. And I'm also joined here by meteorologist Joe Farrell.
Hey, good morning, everyone. And things are picking up in central Iowa, Logan. It has begun.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this tornado warning right here. So this is for Adair, Adams, Cass, and Taylor County until 6:45 in the morning. Hail size less than 3/4 of an inch. We'll take a look here at our storm relative velocity for this storm right here. Starting to see some of that rotation there. We can switch over to the Des Moines radar, but we can see that little couplet over near Stan right now on Highway 34. Joe, is there anything that you are seeing?
That is, Logan. If you want to bring me up on cam over here real quick, that's a very, very strong area of rotation showing up there. So that's the big reason for this tornado warning that's been issued. So you see where those reds and greens come together right here. This is what we're talking about with that strongest rotation. Now this is something that we're going to have to deal with quite a bit as this line of storms continues moving to the east. And this is just kind of the start in central Iowa. So we're going to continue to watch for all of these different areas of rotation that may start to pop up and start to show up as radar data scans continue to come in. Now, as far as anything that might be on the ground, nothing is confirmed with this at this time as far as a tornado on the ground. But I do want to let you know that this line of storms does have history, and it did produce and has produced 2 radar confirmed tornadoes, if I'm not mistaken, and that was over when it was moving through parts of eastern Nebraska. So given the history that this line has already shown and how it's starting to bow out and become a line segment, this is going to continue to be a problem along and south of Interstate 80, and we're likely looking at quite a few impacts from this. If it's not for the wind and the tornado warnings going on, heavy rain along with this as well in areas that got a good amount of rain last night. So some localized flooding concerns may start to come about, but Logan, right now, that main focus is absolutely on the rotation and the tornado warnings that we just got issued into central Iowa.
Yeah, and taking a look at the bigger picture at what we are seeing, we have the severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. today for portions of central and also western Iowa. That's going to be working its way throughout that time frame, heading west to east. But let's take a look here and let's track this tornado warning. Joe, do you know how fast this one is moving?
So this is moving, let's see here. I'll get that for you in just 1 second. So guys, this is a big factor here. This storm is moving to the east-northeast at 65 miles per hour. This is a fast mover. So please head into your tornado safe spot if you're anywhere within that tornado warning right now.
Yeah, we'll take a little track here with that and see what we are getting. So heading here, looks like we're seeing about 619 for Vasilla, 626 Gus, 639 Corning, 644 Mercer, and then at 650 for Prescott. We'll take also a look back here at our storm relative velocity, and we have seen a history of damaging gusts up to about 80 miles an hour and 70 miles an hour, and hail up to about 2 inches with these storms here. And it's just right on both sides of the radar over in Omaha, but also Des Moines here. So we'll take a look at this radar. We're starting to see that little couplet right here. I'll draw a little line right around it. Potentially starting to see that rotation just east of Stanton on Highway 34. So if you're on that road, make sure to find a safe place on that highway. Also just north of Vasilla as well, heading into Corning and Highway 148, heading eastbound on the roads there. But we have that rotation right there. I'll see what our shear is looking like for this storm here. Starting to see some heavier shear detection there, getting into the purple there. So there's definitely a lot of that rotation there for that tornado warning that we're seeing along Highway 34. And in terms of hail, we have seen some places with good size hail, but also history of about hail of up to about 2 inches. We'll take a look at some parameters here. 1.4 just west of Hepburn, about an inch on Highway 34, and then down southeast over in Mercer at about 1.3 inches for hail. So we have seen all threats of severe weather today so far. We'll take a look at some of the local storm reports that we have seen across the area. So a lot of wind, especially over into portions of Nebraska and Iowa. We had that tornado that was confirmed over in Weeping Water, but also a lot of rainfall. We have some chances for some flash flooding coming across the area, but I'll put up all of our warnings right now because we do have a pretty big severe thunderstorm warning for getting up to Adair, Union, and then Ringgold County. This is going to be until as we get to at 7 a.m., considerable threat, hail up to about an inch and gusts up to about 70 miles an hour. So this is definitely during the time where a lot of people are driving, so make sure you have a safe plan to be able to get out of harm's way in case any of you have to drive through this, and also getting into those morning plans. So there is a lot to talk about for today, and I'll take a look back on here. We're also seeing a lot of lightning with these as well, as we're starting to see good amount of lightning coming with these thunderstorms that are going to be working its way into Des Moines probably within the next hour and a half to 2 hours, I will say, for that time frame there. And I'll put our storm relative velocity back on, see if we got the latest scan on the rotation here. And I'll put the warning overlays on this as well. We'll get that up on here. Actually, I'll put this above, but starting to see that some of that right back there. But we'll take a look back here again at that rotation. Still seeing good rotation there, that red and that green closely together just on Highway 34 and Highway 71, that interchange right there. Starting to see that rotation just north of Vasilla, heading into Dickeyville, over Tenville as well. So if you're on Birch Avenue to 10th Avenue, make sure to get into your safe place now. Heading into Quincy, Carbon, get into your safe place, 183rd Street, 15th Street, and in Corning Carl Road. We're starting to see some of that rotation with this tornado warning that we're seeing across the area. Nothing new right now. Looks like we actually did get another tornado warning just north over in Cass County, Adair, Guthrie, and also Audubon County. So we'll take a look at this one right up here, see where the rotation is. We'll pick this right back up, and then we're starting to see some of that rotation, right about there near, looks like Marne right there heading into Atlantic. Joe, is there anything you're seeing?
Yeah, so we just got something in from the National Weather Service. Also, it sounds like we are getting hit with a couple power surges here at the station, but we've got backups to kind of keep us on air and keep us with you here. So this was in, there was near Essex, Iowa. It's from the National Weather Service, a report of a 90-mile-per-hour wind gust. So this is a very intense line of storms, and if it's not producing, and it doesn't look like it at this time, even if it's not producing a tornado, we still want you to treat this like a tornado situation, given the fact that a 90-mile-per-hour wind gust has been recorded with this. That's a very dangerous wind speed to have that without a tornado on the ground. So want all of you to keep this in mind as we continue to track these storms farther to the east. So it's something that I'll bring up here. We'll take a look at that velocity again, let you know about some of those areas of rotation. and what we're seeing as far as where it is strongest. And Logan mentioned this a little bit ago as well. Got this area right north, just north of Villisca, that is passing over US Highway 71 and likely has just recently passed Highway 71 here. That's going to continue moving off to the east and a little bit northeast. Got some other areas. What we're going to notice throughout this morning and over the next couple of hours here is different areas within this line that are going to be rotating. And this is very common with these lines of thunderstorms. It happens a lot where rotation may show up for a couple of scans, might even drop a brief tornado, and then it may lift. But we're going to continue to treat each tornado warning like a tornado could be on the ground at any moment in time. So this is going to continue to be kind of the primary threats, the wind as well as the tornado threat. We're going to continue to, just continue to see the storms produce very, very active and very strong, dangerous weather. So Logan, this is just the beginning in central Iowa here, but yeah, we're going to stay live with you all throughout this morning and keep you updated and covered with these storms.
Yeah, and I'll take a look at the path that we're going to be seeing for these storms. We're starting to see southwestern Iowa get hit, but it's going to work its way into central Iowa as we head throughout the next couple of hours. We're going to start seeing the storm complex heading into central Iowa by about, I would say, 7 o'clock, at least the beginning of it. And it's going to continue to stay in central Iowa. This is at 8 o'clock here. Starting to see some of that more intense part near along I-35, but also I-80 heading into Des Moines. There's a lot of traffic during that time, too, so this is something we're going to be keeping an eye on as this threat also goes to Des Moines. But taking a look after 8 o'clock, heading into 9, we're going to start seeing that threat really start to get out of central Iowa, head more towards Grinnell and to Cedar Rapids and portions of eastern Iowa, and then heading into Illinois, before we could also possibly see some more severe weather coming into Ames as we head into the afternoon. I think that's going to stay a little bit more on the non-severe side as we get throughout that afternoon, but another round of showers does look to pick up as we head into the afternoon, but that's outside our area. But we're going to be tracking this line of complex storm system working its way through southwestern Iowa, heading into central Iowa. Joe?
Yeah, and what I've got up over here is just taking a look at a couple locations that we have some observation sites for wind gusts. So you see that wind gust of 44 miles per hour down near Clarinda, as well as Red Oak, a wind gust of 41 miles per hour. So we're not getting, as far as just the locations that we have some of our observation sites, not getting anything to confirm just the strength that these storms may be producing at this time, but that is something that we will continue to keep a close eye on. And in terms of the tornado threat and what is the area that we have to keep a very, very close watch is this area that was just north of Villisca a couple of radar scans ago. This area continues to rotate right here, right along US Highway 34. This is going to continue moving off to the east, and it looks as though, if I go back a couple of radar scans here, you'll notice the movement of this area of rotation. It looks like it's got a little bit of a just north of east component to it. So with that being said, and how fast this is moving, if you are anywhere within this tornado warned cell, which is just right through here, do make sure that you're seeking shelter and heading to your tornado safe spot, because it is moving at a very fast pace. We are talking storm motion of around 65 miles per hour right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to track this spot of the strongest rotation. In fact, because it's moving so quickly, bear with me one moment. I need to zoom out a little bit more so I can give you a little bit more full of a view with this track here. And I'm going to keep the velocity up for the latest scans. Not quite as bright and tight as what we just saw a minute ago, but as I was mentioning a little bit earlier, this is the nature of these lines of storms. You can get rotation that shows up very strong for a couple of scans, and then it may go away, but it can come right back just as quick as it shows up. So Quincy by 6:29, Creston by 6:49 is what we're looking at the arrival for this area of rotation that we continue to watch. Afton by 6:57, Murray by 7:08, Osceola by 7:17. Those are the locations next in line for where this rotation has been strongest, but do know that this is an entire line of storms. This is not just one specific location that is seeing this very, very menacing looking area of storms. Now, what we may start to see, maybe not so much with this cell that's out ahead, but right through here, if we start to see this begin to bow out even more, that's when we would be very concerned with wind gusts getting up to 70 miles per hour, possibly greater than that, like near Essex getting a wind gust recorded of 90 miles per hour. So this is a threat that is going to continue. Even if the tornado warnings don't continue, that threat for dangerous wind speeds is going to continue east with this line of storms. So yeah, Logan, we are continuing to just track everything for you, and yeah, we're going to continue seeing these storms move east.
Yeah, and we'll also take a look here at the hail over just south of Hepburn and east of Hollyville. Starting to see an uptick in the hail. I'll take a look here in the center on Highway 71. So if you're driving in between Highway 2 north into Highway 71, starting to see hail. Could get up to about 2 inches in diameter in this area. So starting to see some heavier pockets of hail. We saw some reports of it has produced some hail about 2 inches earlier the past couple of hours. So we're still seeing the same intensity as we're heading to some more favorable air for storm development along the next couple of hours, heading into other pockets. Now also Highway 34, just southwest of Creston, southwest of Cromwell, and also north of Springtown. Still some hail getting up to about an inch north of Highway 34 there. Looks like our newest scan came in. We're seeing multiple pockets getting into Bushville and Highway 148, but also Gus as well. I'll try to see if there's another update on our storm relative velocity, see if we can see anything about the rotation there. It looks like we still have that just going directly on Highway 134. Some of that rotation there, not as tight as it was a little while ago, but we're still seeing that rotation still persist throughout the past couple of scans here, just not on the scale we saw in the beginning. And the rotation that we're seeing is right here with that green and red that are right next to each other. So we have that red, that's that outbound wind that's heading to the southwest, but we also have that green wind that's going to the northwest. So we see that rotation coming across the area, which is why they did prompt that tornado warning for that area. Joe?
Yeah, we are. This is going to continue to be a very intense situation as this line of storms. This is coming in just at such a horrible time, right in the heart of the morning commute. So, any communities, if you have to make a drive, if you're anywhere kind of within these tornado warnings, and you're about to head out to work, make a drive out in the country in some of these smaller communities in between towns, please stay home and just ride this out in your tornado safe spot. If you're anywhere south of I-80, all throughout these areas here, because it'd be very dangerous to be out there on the roads where we have all these tornado warnings. If you're anywhere within all of this right here and just out ahead of it, please let these storms move through, let them pass. Be safe in your tornado safe spot because the wind gusts are incredibly strong. There has been hail recorded within these storms, and it just would not be safe for you to be out on the roads and out and about. And I am more than positive that your place of work will understand that. No doubt about it. And if they don't, they can give me a call and I'll talk to them. So we are going to continue to watch areas of rotation. The strongest of that still at this point in time is just to the south and a little bit southeast of Quincy here. Got this area right here. And then there's another spot showing up right near Lenox, just to a little bit to the west and a little bit north of west of Lenox here. This little spot, it's getting a little bit brighter and is standing out a little bit to me at this moment in time. But something I do also want to mention, we're going to continue to look at the debris detection. There's going to be a lot of just kind of muddled data within here, but we will continue to watch for that. But do know that this is still pretty far from the radar site. So the radar is shooting up into these storms, not so much closer to the surface. So it may be, it would take an incredibly strong tornado to loft debris that high. But it is something that we will continue to watch for. All of these tornado warnings that we currently have here, they are just, they're radar indicated, but things happen very, very quickly. So this tornado warning right here, this middle one, that includes Adair, Adams, as well as Cass and Taylor counties. This is going to remain in place through 6:45. And then the tornado warning that is farther north that includes Atlantic and starts to approach Greenfield, Adair, Audubon, Cass, and Guthrie County. This is going to remain until 6:45. Again, these are radar indicated right now. A lot of rotation showing up within this line of storms, but a tornado can drop at any moment when the rotation is as strong as what we've seen up to this point. So that's why we continue to just drive home that we want you to be in your tornado safe spot if you're out ahead of this whole line, because this will continue to happen as this progresses to the east.
Yeah, I'll take a look here at our shear values. Looks like it has gone down a little bit on our latest scan. It was in that light blue, but it has gone down to the dark blue over near Dickeyville, Brooks, and Corning. I'll take a look and see if we got a new scan on our storm relative velocity for that. Start to see that rotation start to separate just a little bit, not as strong as what we've usually seen just here over Corning right now, over Corning Carl Road, 190th Street, Highway 34, Highway 148. But also there's a new severe thunderstorm warning I want to talk about, and it's a little bit more up ahead in southern Iowa and south central. We have this just working its way over from Missouri, coming its way in for Decatur and Wayne County. Hail size up to about an inch, wind speeds up about 60 miles an hour. But we're starting to see some, I'll take a look at some of these severe reports. We've seen reports 70 miles an hour. There was a 90 mile per hour in Essex. Hail up to about 2.5 inches down in Shenandoah. But we're starting to see this type of storm, Joe. I will say, this is going to be one of those storms that it produces those wind gusts. That's one thing I think we're going to be looking at really hard as we take a look here over the next couple of hours, is that destructive winds, Joe.
Yeah, completely agree with you, Logan. That is going to be very much a primary threat with all of this action. And so even if, and the plan right now from the National Weather Service is that tornado warnings, they're not planning to issue more of them farther east at this very moment in time, but they may end up putting an 80 mile per hour wind gust tag onto these severe thunderstorm warnings, and that is an incredibly strong wind. And if you want to compare it to tornado wind speeds, 80 miles per hour, I believe, would be right near that kind of EF0, EF1 tornado type of range for wind speed. So even though these may not end up producing a lot of tornadoes, we could still have a quick spin up, for one, and two, that type of wind can do damage to power lines, trees, things of that nature. So it's all threats that we're going to have to continue to watch. So I want to get a look at velocity again here. Take a look at these storm relative winds. Now this has been and has gotten just a little bit interesting. We're not seeing one particular smaller area that we call a couplet within here. This is a little bit broader area of rotation, so we may be seeing this this storm in this area of this line cycle just a little bit. So we could very easily see this come and become a little bit tighter, closer together. Once that happens, that would increase that concern for a possible tornado threat. But with colors this bright, these are still very strong winds that are showing up. In fact, let's go ahead and sample one of these. This is north of Lenox. You see the velocity there. It says minus 68, but that's because it is an outbound wind. So we've got 63 miles per hour showing up on radar and 68 miles per hour in those two brighter areas of that color. So very strong winds, even though there is not tight rotation within that. We could see that progress, and that rotation could very easily come right back. So something that we will continue to keep a very close eye on. And Logan, I do not foresee this slowing down anytime soon. In fact, we do have a new tornado warning. Before going back to Logan, I want to get you the details on this one. So this is going to include Adair, Adams, Madison, and Union counties. It's this red polygon right here. Includes Creston, Arispe, Afton, heading over towards Lormore, Macksburg included within this polygon. If you're anywhere within this, please seek shelter, head to your tornado safe spot, because this line of storms continues moving into the east at a very rapid pace. We are still talking storm motion and line of storm motion at 65 miles per hour. So it is not a situation where there's a lot of time before this begins to arrive. So please keep that in mind and seek shelter right now. And Logan, bear with me for one moment. I'm going to have you take over here for just a quick little bit here.
Yeah, no, I got you, Joe. We'll take a look at that rotation again here. Still seeing pretty separated in terms of that high velocity that Joe was talking about earlier. But if you're just joining us now, we have been covering potential tornado warnings across the past couple about hour or so. But taking a look ahead, what we're going to be seeing on our high resolution models heading into 7 o'clock. We're going to start seeing these storms get to central Iowa during that rush hour traffic here in Des Moines. And this is what it could look like here at about 8 a.m. See some of the more intense storms on the eastern side of I-35, but still going to be affecting the interstates, especially I-80, also I-35. So make sure, take precaution. Try not to go if you can. If so, also slow down and try to drive the best you can. But heading into the later parts of the morning, heading to 10 o'clock, it's going to start moving its way out of the Des Moines area, getting into more of eastern Iowa as we head to 10 o'clock. Potential for some more severe weather. I think it's going to remain on the more limited side as we head into 11 to noonish. But this is going to be mainly for more parts of northern Iowa as we get to Fort Dodge and Ames. And after that, we have a little break with some weather, but some potential for another round of severe weather comes through on the eastern side of Iowa as you get to 3 o'clock. It's going to be a short window, 3 to 5 p.m. for that as well. We'll take a look back here at the current picture of what we're seeing. Also some potential for flooding as well, as we've seen some places already get over 1.5 inches of rain and potentially could get an extra 2 inches or even 3 inches of rainfall, just seeing back here in portions of Nebraska, but also heading into Iowa. So could see if the National Weather Service Des Moines does add a flash flood warning for portions getting into Adams, Taylor, Ringgold, and Union County for this heavy rainfall that we're seeing right here in the pink. Now we'll see if there's another update with our velocity couplet here. It looks like it's getting a little closer there. Still seeing some very fast winds coming across that area with that couplet, heading over Highway 34 just into Prescott and also Stringtown, Quince Avenue, 180th, County Road H33, Cromwell Road, heading into Creston. Make sure you get into your safe spots, heading into Kent as well. Make sure you have that safe place, whether it's the most interior room that you have that has no windows, if you have a single level home, or if you have a basement. Make sure to get into your safe place and get as low as possible as you can. And we'll take a look here if there's anything else. This has also been producing a lot of lightning. I know, Joe, you were talking about stuff with lightning earlier. Looks like it hasn't loaded all in, but we have seen a lot of flashes throughout the skies and actually been hearing some rumbles here at our studio in West Des Moines. It has been producing a lot of lightning here. Joe, you have anything?
Nothing super new to report. However, what we can do is I'm going to get a fresh track. We're starting to see with this tornado warning here that you see from Adair stretching back to the west towards Atlantic. They just trimmed it up a little bit, which makes sense because this part of the line of storms is starting to approach kind of the very edge of that tornado warning right there. Severe thunderstorm warning and a new one a little bit farther to the north here, including Audubon and Guthrie Center. And this is going to be for very strong wind gusts, and that's the primary threat with that one right now. But I want to go back down farther to the south here. Look at what's going on here. We're starting to see this kind of bowing out within this spot. So we could see a progression of some very strong wind gusts pushing east. And again, this storm is moving so quickly. It's a 65 mile per hour storm, and that's how fast it's moving to the east and the northeast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a track on this whole line here and take you through. Let's go, we'll just go the next 40 minutes here. So here are locations next in line. Again, guys, this is moving very, very fast. 65 miles per hour to the east and the northeast. Cromwell by 640, Creston 645. So it's not going to be too long before this becomes and starts rolling into maybe your community. Afton by 652, Thayer by 659, and then we're looking at Murray, East Peru, and Osceola just a little bit after 7 o'clock. Those are the some spots that in a rough timeline of when this portion of this line is going to be moving in. So if you're anywhere out ahead of this, especially any of these locations, before 7 o'clock. I know we've got 20 minutes until we get to 7 a.m., but this is moving so quickly that I want you to head to your tornado safe spots right now and stay there. Allow all of this to pass before you may have to head out to work. Give it some time. let these storms move through, and the worst of it move through before you head out onto the roadways, because this is not a time you want to be out on the roads with the winds that we're experiencing with this line of storms, the tornado warnings that we have, the areas of rotation showing up. Just would not be a good time to be out on the roadways. Let's go back to the velocity here. Gosh, that is it's not super tight. If we had these even tighter together, but still this has tightened up a little bit over the last few scans. So this is a very concerning spot here, right near just a little bit to the east of Prescott. And latest data scan is coming in. Still, we are seeing that rotation in this spot. So this is one area that I would be concerned with over the next little bit here, riding just north right along US Highway 34 and moving towards the Creston area. So Creston, head to your tornado safe spot right now and seek shelter if you haven't done so already. Now is the time to do so, because Logan, as we've been discussing, this another threat with this is not just what it's producing, but also how fast this line of storms is moving.
Yeah, this storm, we've seen reports earlier moving 70 miles an hour, but also moving 60 miles an hour. So that really limits the amount of lead time that you have to get into your safe place, just how fast we have seen these storms moving. But I do have something to report over in Clarinda. We have reports of flooding. I'll take a look here. Looks like potential, looks also inch hail, but also people's crops, yards, and even basements were getting flooded down there. And taking a look past 3 hours, we have seen a lot of rainfall, especially over in Fremont and Mills County, potentially up to about 3 to 4 inches of rainfall so far. So this is something we are going to be looking at as well, is that threat for heavy rain. I'll take a look here. I think they did issue a flash flood warning for that area. We have that new one right down here, including Clarinda. So a lot of rainfall that we are seeing down in this area, Joe.
Yeah, especially for areas that ended up seeing very heavy rainfall from last night. I mean, just as an example, you see Russell here. We got a report of 6 inches of rain just from last night's storms near Russell, and that was measured. So these areas have seen a lot of rain. So the localized flooding problems will become a concern as this continues moving. Yes, the storms are moving quickly, but it's also not going to take much rain on a saturated ground to start causing some problems. So we'll continue to track the tornado warnings here. The most concerning portion of this line is moving into Creston within the next kind of a couple of minutes. So if you are listening in Creston, please stay in your tornado safe spot. The storm is beginning to roll into town very shortly, if not already. Seeing some of those winds get very gusty, very strong, maybe hearing that. But the strongest portion of this line is very, very close to you. And I really want to keep things and keep looking at the velocity here. So what we may end up seeing end up being produced here is, as this line continues to progress and continues to kind of have that little bit of a bowing action to it, because winds feeding into it are coming out of the south and the southeast, it's kind of helping to create for a little bit of that spin. And as these storms become more surface-based, they're still slightly elevated, but they're becoming a little bit more surface-based, and that is when we'd be concerned and more concerned for a tornado reaching the ground. But I would say that the rotation up to this point has been strong enough for even a very slightly elevated storm to still produce a tornado on the ground. We haven't gotten any reports of that ongoing at this time, but it is something that I want to continue to treat it as if this tornado warning is live and it's on the ground, just because of the winds that are being produced and likely being produced by this line segment here. Now, we do have some observation sites within this, so we'll keep an eye on just how fast the wind speeds are as these storms move through these areas. But man, this has got quite the menacing look to it, Logan, and they are, you're going to see these polygons stretching very far to the east. It's because of how fast the storms are moving. And also just getting out, really, National Weather Service doing a great job getting out ahead of things.
Yeah, we actually do have a photo to put up there. Production, if you can put up this photo of hail and just look at the
Whoa,
size of that.
that's
They were predicting
huge.
earlier when the severe thunderstorm watch came out for hail size up to apple size, which is about 3 inches. That is significant hail right there. That will do harm if that falls on cars and do damage as well to sidings. That is an amazing size of hail right there, Joe.
Yeah, those hailstones are huge, and the hail signature within this line is still very much showing up in a very strong way. And just sampling a couple of the stronger spots that radar is picking up on right now. Hail size not quite to what we saw in the picture there, but still just over 2 inches in diameter. 2¼ inch diameter hail is large enough, especially with the winds that these storms have, to cause damage, blow those hailstones sideways, and that is going to create that hail size could take out a window. So because of the hail that's being produced along with the wind, if you're out ahead of where this hail is falling, please do, if you haven't gone into your tornado safe spot, that's where you should be. But also, just keep in mind staying away from any windows or doors to the outside because of the hail size and how strong these winds are. That could very easily put a hailstone, into a damaged siding, damage windows. Certainly possible with that kind of hail size. So, Logan, all threats and all modes of severe weather have been showing with this line, and I think we're going to continue to see all modes and threats as this continues eastward.
Yeah, I'll take a look here. To bring it back to here, we do have the severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. That's going to be covering the metro area, but also portions east of I-35. That's going to be for central, but also western Iowa. We'll take a quick look at what we can see, how it's going to be evolving over time, especially once it gets over the metro area. So take a look here at our high resolution model. We're going to start seeing that storm really start to move through. Gusty winds of about up to 60 plus miles an hour. This is going to be around 8 a.m. This is what the model is saying. Potentially see that I-35, I-80, a lot of travel impacts during that time. Temperatures still staying in the upper 60s, but we're going to be seeing those strong impacts that are going to affect your commute since that is rush hour as well. But heading into 9 o'clock past that, start to see the limitedness here in central Iowa and Des Moines. It's going to move more over into eastern Iowa, but we could start seeing some potential for more severe weather. I think it's going to be more on the limited side for portions of northern Iowa as we head to noon, 11 to noonish. And that's going to be the main threats for today that we are looking at there, Joe.
Yeah, I want to get you all some details on this severe thunderstorm warning here. They do have the considerable tag for the considerable threat with this, and it's of course because of the line of storms, but it's from this right here, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible as this line continues moving east. So this severe thunderstorm warning does include Clark, Decatur, Taylor, and Union counties and will last until 7:30. Another area that I am keeping an eye on, not so much for a rotation or a tornado threat, but we're likely seeing maybe some smaller hailstones being produced right around Corydon right now. And the hail detection is just slightly delayed. So we likely have this a little bit closer to Corydon and Highway 2. But just want to let you know that if you're down in that area, got some small hail possible with that storm that's showing up that is severe warned currently, and that may have some gusty winds along with it too. But let's get back to this tornado warning and really focus in here. Creston, it's still moving through this. Stay in your tornado safe spots if you're in Creston for a little bit longer here. Storms are moving quickly, but the threat is still in and around Creston. I want you to be safe. Arispe as well. Make sure you are, I hope you're already in your tornado safe spot. But if you're not there already and you're tuning in here, please head that direction. So this line is going to be crossing over US Highway 169 pretty soon here. And the strongest portion of it looks like it's going to kind of ride right along and maybe just a little bit south of US Highway 34 going from west to east. I want to look at the velocity again, and then we'll get another track on this for you all. So still seeing some spikes in the returns here and on the velocity scan, but I'm not seeing anything that's overly concerning as far as those tighter areas of rotation. All the winds, both inbound and outbound, it's all kind of broad right here. But a couple different areas where it's showing up as strong winds. So we're going to continue to watch for any rotation that may come about, because it does happen quickly. But let's get another track on this. I want to focus on where this line is beginning and has been kind of, creating this little bowing segment here. I want to keep that focus on that. And storm motion still is at 65 miles per hour to the east and the northeast. So going out, well, actually, bear with me for one moment here, everyone. I'm going to zoom out because you got to zoom out quite a bit with storms moving at the speed that they are in order for me to get this storm track an hour out. So let's get this all the way out here, and going to try and keep this on the general path that it looks like it's going to continue taking. So over the next hour, Afton, you got just a couple minutes here before the northern edge of this line, and it's going to be on the northern edge and the southern edge of where this line is strongest that we may end up seeing a little bit greater tornado potential. That is where typically rotation and some brief spin-ups do happen. The surging line is going to be a damaging wind threat. So Afton, within a couple of minutes here, make sure you're in your tornado safe spot. Murray by 7:05, 7:13 coming into Osceola. And again, this goes out very far, but these locations that are showing up here, it's not too much time before the storm rolls in because of how fast it's moving. Woodburn 7:20, 7:27 getting into Lucas, Sheraton by 7:34, and Russell by 7:41. So we have, that's the strongest area of thunderstorms right now, and that is where we do still currently have a tornado warning in place. And this tornado warning is going to remain until, I believe it was 7 a.m. And yes, that is still the case. We will have to see if they issue, and they may issue another one farther to the east. But even if they don't issue that next tornado warning, we're going to stay on the air with you and stay with you through this, even if this tornado warning goes away, just because of the damaging wind gust threat and the possible straight line winds that may end up being produced and have a history of producing this line of storms. So just wanted to make mention of that, Logan, that even if this tornado warning does not get extended, we are going to stay on the air and stay with you because the threats are not gone if the tornado warning goes away and isn't reissued.
Yeah, let's take a look here at our hail as well. We're starting to see 3 nice pockets of hail developing just north of Diagonal, northeast of Bedford, and also north of Hopkins, Missouri. Seeing multiple pockets that could get up to 2 inches, even up to 2 1/4 inch hail across this area. The biggest one we're looking at right now is over here just south of Creston, south of Highway 34, just nice and right around it, heading into also Highway 169, heading into Shannon City, and also Highway 169. But we're starting to see a lot of this heavy Ringgold Union Street County Highway P27, some heavy hail coming your way across that area. I'll take a look here at our rotation, see if there's anything that we can have for rotation. Still on the smaller end, looks like just about around those bows there near Tingley, Mount Ayr, but nothing too much that I am seeing there. I'll take a look here at storm relative velocity quickly again, but you can just tell that fast winds with that green and that red, that very bright green. We're going to start seeing that really start to curve out that little echo feature right there and bring in those gusty winds. I'll put on our high velocity, and it should highlight that green area right up there. So we're seeing the strongest of those winds up in the atmosphere right now, just north of Highway 34, east of Audubon, over in Larland right now, heading into Wichita there, Joe.
Yeah, and we've got a couple different severe thunderstorm warnings here on the northern edge of this entire line. So this was just issued. This does include portions of Boone, Carroll, Greene, and Guthrie counties, and this is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's what the primary threat is with the severe thunderstorm warning that is just south of this one. And this is what this portion of the line is heading and getting a little bit closer now to the west side of the Des Moines metro. It's not going to take too long before that begins to move into Des Moines. And so if you're on the western side of the metro, do be prepared for some very strong wind gusts. And I know it's right in the middle of the morning commute. So if you are on the roads as this line moves in, just slow down a little bit and be safe out there on the roadways. Still continuing with this tornado warning through 7 o'clock. And we've seen different areas of some of that rotation trying to develop over kind of the past 10 to 15 minutes, but haven't seen anything tighten up to the degree that it may drop something very soon. And that is still the case, but there are some bright returns coming in here. So that is the evidence to very strong wind gusts being produced by this line. Now, this is maybe just very slightly delayed. So the strongest winds now moving a bit east and north of east of Creston currently. And this is going to continue on this very similar path. So if you're in Lorimore, may end up seeing some very strong wind gusts starting to come into town very, very soon here, and kind of all throughout these areas where we've got the tornado warning. Even though there aren't a ton of communities showing up, I know there are smaller communities within here. Also, a lot of farms and just people still live in these areas, even if it's not in a town. So if you know anyone that's in the northern parts of the county, and do let them know that this is coming their direction, just in case they don't have the greatest access to coverage that we have right now. So, Logan, multiple things for us to track at the moment, and I do want to make another mention. We will stick with you even if another tornado warning is not issued downstream, because I don't foresee this line, with how menacing it looks, Logan, I don't foresee it really just going away quickly. That portion of the line has got some robustness to it and likely is going to continue east.
I think it's going to, especially once it gets into the Des Moines area too, starting to see those wind speeds. I think that threat really increases, I think, throughout the next couple of half hours heading into the hour. But we're still starting to see some heading more north, some severe thunderstorm warnings until 7:45. This one's for Boone, Carroll, Greene, and Guthrie County. Radar indicated wind speeds up to about 60 miles an hour, so I'll track this one here. I'll see how fast it is going quick, and I'll put it in for, looks like it's moving northeast at about 55 miles an hour, so I'll grab this quick and move in at 55 miles an hour. I'll knock this down here, and we'll see what impacts we could see heading into these areas over the next couple of minutes. So, Scranton about 7:08, Bagley 7:10, Jefferson 7:16, 7:24 for Grand Junction, Beaver 7:29, Ogden for 6:36, and this is going to be for Boone, Carroll, Greene, and Guthrie County until 7:45 for the more north one here. So we're starting to see that severe threat, Joe, build up into the north as well throughout this time period.
Yeah, we are seeing that northern part of the line get a little bit more organized. I'm trying to keep track of the wind gusts here. It might be slightly delayed now that the storm has at least the strongest portion of the line has moved through. Might take a second for the wind gusts that were recorded during that to kind of pop in here. Something I want to keep track of is not only the rotation where we have the tornado warning, but the rotation can show up still even in this northerly portion. Now, the better spin in the atmosphere is a little bit farther south of these areas, but lines of storms can kind of almost make their own rules in a way where even though there might not be great atmospheric spin, you can still get spin within thunderstorm complexes like this one. So we do have to continue to keep an eye for little kinks like this one just north of Stewart. And when we see that get a little bit tighter in that area, that's when we could have a couple of scans where a tornado warning might get issued very quickly, and then it may go away a couple scans later. It's just something that is going to have a bit of an ebb and flow to it. But I'd say the greatest risk of seeing more rotation develop within this whole area is going to be where we currently have the tornado warning. And where this part of the line, as it continues moving to the east, we're going to see this kind of northern portion right here and potentially have to watch for some more rotation on the southern part of the line as well. Kind of right in the middle, you can get some kinks and some rotation, but when it surges forward like this, that's when we are worried about more of a straight line wind type of threat. And not only that, as Logan has been talking about and has shown a couple different times, the hail showing up with this is at a high level. In fact, the latest radar data coming in, this is very, very large showing up. I mean, we're talking 3 inches in diameter. Now, it's radar indicated, but still, that is very large hail, very dangerous hail, especially with the strong winds that these storms are producing. So from Afton all the way down 169 through Arispe near Tingley, this is where we've got the largest hail, and kind of right in between Tingley and Arispe. It's where that 3-inch hail is showing up on radar, which I can't think of it off the top of my head at this very moment in time. If you know by chance, Logan, what exactly that size classification is at that level.
Yeah, so apple is 3 inches. So think about an apple, just maybe add a little. Maybe it's a little bit of a bigger apple, I will say. But
That's
seen
huge.
that. We saw that photo earlier of that hail near Clarion. It was heavy. That's a lot of hail right there, especially that size right there. But I do have another severe thunderstorm to talk about here for the Des Moines metro area, actually for Dallas, Madison, Polk, and Warren County. Radar indicated about hail size up to about 1 inch, and then wind speeds up to 60 miles an hour. This is going to be until 7:45, just getting into the metro area here now, probably within the next maybe next 15, 30 minutes. I'll take a quick tracker on here. I'll get the wind speed, and I'll see when it's going to impact some of the Des Moines metro areas, moving east at 65 miles an hour. That is just insanely fast, Joe, for the speed for the storm. But I'll grab this line right here, and we'll see when it can impact your communities. So Redfield about 7:05, Winterset 7:10, Adele 7:14, Waukee 7:20, Des Moines 7:32, Ankeny 7:35, Bondurant about 7:41 for the severe thunderstorm warning for about 60 mile per hour winds, gusts, and about 1 inch hail size for Dallas, Madison, Polk, and Warren County. And I want to take a look again at that hail down there. That was just it's an impressive signature down over just south of Highway 34 and just getting past Highway 169 now, just north of Tingley. That is just really large hail. Take a quick look at this again. I mean, apple-sized hail up to 3 inches for that severe thunderstorm warning coming across the area. And I believe they did say some more stuff. They said at this moment they're not planning to extend the Union County tornado warning downstream. So this one that we're seeing right here that's set to expire or did expire, they're not expected to warn that downstream. The rotation's a little more broad on the radar than earlier, but they're still monitoring that area for some brief spin-ups that could warn another tornado warning. That said, there's still 70 mile per hour severe wind gusts. It's going to continue downstream into Clark and Decatur counties. Joe?
Yeah, and it's something that I want everyone to keep in mind is even though you're not seeing a red polygon here, that tornado warning, this is still a dangerous line of storms. I want you to continue to take it very seriously. So even though no tornado warnings in Central Iowa right now, but we're gonna stay with you here because we are still seeing the potential for 70 mile per hour wind gusts on the southern end of this line, and on the northern end, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Still some quarter-size hail, but very large hail signatures showing up with this storm that just recently moved through Creston. So the hail threat is certainly there with this portion of the line. And as Logan just mentioned too, what the National Weather Service is watching, we are going to continue watching this as well. There can always end up being little spin-ups within the line. It can happen very quickly. Snap of a finger, so rotations show up and it can go away. But when the rotation shows up, as these storms, we're seeing this line become a little bit more surface-based now, we are going to see that threat of any rotation that comes about could drop a tornado at any moment. So it's something that happens very fast with these lines, and is something that I just want everyone to kind of keep in mind here. But certainly some very strong winds beginning to move into the Des Moines metro here very, very shortly.
Yeah, and Joe, if I want to cut in quick, there's a tornado warning
tornado warning,
Dallas and Guthrie County over here. And for those two counties, hail size still under 3/4 of an inch. I'll take a little track here, see if it wants to pop up how fast. This is not coming up on my GR analyst just yet. Looks like, the tornado warning until 7:30. Looks like it is moving at about 65 miles an hour. So I'll grab this again and we'll track it potentially when you could see this coming into your area. So Panora about 705, Linden 707, Panther 716, Black Corner 719, Dallas Center 722, and Moran about 720. I'll take a look here on our storm relative velocity, see if we can find that rotation in the area. Looks like it would probably be somewhere around near Linden, starting to see some of that warmer, higher gusts. Joe, are you seeing anything?
I would say that'd be the area to keep a close eye on near Linden and north and new scan just came in and still like I mentioned just a little bit ago. Of course it happens almost just right after. A little kink here, that rotation, it is showing up. And so these little kinks in line here, very quick tornadoes can be produced. So Logan, I completely agree with you. I think that area around Linden that is now past just to the east of Panora, right along Highway 44, that's going to be an area to continue to watch. And also, we're seeing another little kink here right near Redfield. And this is going to be approaching County Road F60. This area of rotation may pass just to the north of it, but just another little area for us to keep a close eye on. This is something that we'll continue to see happen as we move forward. But this area of the storms that just went tornado warned, this is starting to get very close to the Des Moines metro. So the threat for some of those areas of rotation to show up is something that we have to watch very closely, not just right now, but of course as it starts to get into the Des Moines area too, is something that we're going to have a very close eye on.
Yeah, and if you're joining us just now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. for today. They have cut out some of the back counties over in Fremont and Mills County, but now we're just starting to see central Iowa until 10 a.m. over the next 3 hours. Potential for severe weather across the area, and we do have that new tornado warning over in Dallas, heading into Guthrie County. For some of that radar indicated rotation, starting to see a little increase in that rotation overall over the past couple scans, and still a little bit of some high velocity up there, some of the faster winds across here. I'll take a look here at hail as well, see if there's any more. Looks like we're starting to see still more concentrated down in portions of getting into south of Highway 34, south of Thayer, heading into Hopeville, starting to see to 130th Avenue. We're starting to see some heavy hail, so large hail. So get into your safe spot because we've seen hail damage cars, but also a house as well with roofing, with roofs and also windows as well. So make sure you get into your safe spot for that hail across the area. We already saw places get up to, we saw photos that looked like apple-sized hail, which is about 3 inches. So hail is a pretty great threat that we're seeing here at the moment. And Joe, is there anything you have new?
Nothing new outside of there was a wind gust of 70 miles per hour recorded in Crescent. So this is why we want to continue to stay in coverage with you. And if you guys can hear me up in the booth, would we be able to take Carter and Emma's feed, live feed right now, and check out, Carter just mentioned to us it's pretty nasty. So, I mean, that rain is incredibly heavy. I know that Carter and Emma have driven through hail up to this point. And Emma, if you can hear me and you're mic'd up and everything, what have you guys been seeing as you've been kind of tracking this line of storms and been moving through part of it? Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, thank you so much, Emma. You and we'll check back in with you again, likely in a little bit here. Thank you guys so much. Please do remain safe and continue heading east. Emma and Carter reporting out in the storm tracker. Again, thank you guys so much for all your help and work this morning. Let's get a look at this tornado warning again. So this is going to remain this tornado warning until 7:30 for Dallas and Guthrie counties. This is, again, for an area of rotation that showed up for a couple of radar scans. And as we go back to velocity, I'm curious to see if that has held, and it has. Still seeing some of that rotation within there. Notice a little kink right there. Another one down close to Redfield. Watching another one right near Rippey here on near Highway 144. Just a little bit of a kink there. This is something that we will continue to have to monitor, because anytime you get that increased and tighter rotation, it can produce a quick tornado in just very fast fashion. So it happens quickly. These areas of rotation go in and out, and as they appear, do want you to take that very seriously. So any warnings that the National Weather Service is issuing, and you may get those emergency alerts on your phone, please do take it seriously and seek shelter. What we can do, what I want to do right now, is we haven't gotten a track on this one in a little bit here. So I'm gonna track this as it continues moving off to the north and east. So this is a little bit of a narrower path, but this is the rough timeline of when some locations around the Des Moines metro area are going to start to get in on this. So if you're in Dallas Center, 717, just a couple minutes here, because this is moving at 65 miles per hour to the northeast still at the latest check. 726 into Granger, 730, Polk City, Huxley by 739, Maxwell by 747, Colo by 755, and then 801 into State Center, excuse me. So these are the locations next in line with this tornado warned portion of the line of storms. But please do know that even if you're not under this particular tornado warning, you are still likely going to experience in some way, shape, or form from this area up near Boxholm, the northern end of this line, all the way down to the south and stretching to the Iowa-Missouri border, at least very close to it. You will experience very gusty and very strong winds, as well as potentially hail as well. In fact, Logan, if you'd be able to go back to the hail detection and talk about that for just a second.
Yeah, we're starting to see some of that hail really start to pick up, especially down in southern Iowa. That's where we've seen the bulk of the threats there. There was a report by first responders, RCMP, to penny-sized hail in portions of Madison County. But taking a look here down in parts of southern Iowa, still along Highway 34, now getting into Highway 35. So if you're driving on that road near Van Wert up to Oskaloosa, New Virginia, watch out for some hail. That's going to be coming here within the next couple of minutes to about 15 minutes. But we're going to be seeing some places still up to about 2.5 inch hail across this area. And actually our other radar system we're using saying potentially up to 3 in that area. So still large hails, still dropping across this area just north of Beaconsfield, Grand River. And I'll take a little zoom in here on the roads that are getting impacted. 130th Avenue, Hopeville, you're getting on the end of it. You're going to get out of the hailstorm there soon. Heading into Elk Street, Leslie, Highway 69, LaSalle Road, but also getting Highway 34. It can get clipped by some of that large hail that we're seeing down there in portions of southern Iowa. Now, in terms of Madison County, where they saw P to penny-sized hail, just passing Highway 169 now, heading into East Peru. Take a little zoom in here, Peru Road, Clark Tower Road, starting to see some more hail there, probably at about an inch or inch and a half so far. Looks at about 1.6 for this one right here. I'll take another zoom out, see if there's anything on that extreme southern part of Iowa. Looks like almost on that on the Iowa Missouri border near Blockton, Ethelston getting into Highway 169, some more hail up to about 2 inches in diameter across. So we're starting to see hail is still a huge threat. That was one of the bigger threats for today in terms of the severe thunderstorm watch that came out early this morning. Severe hail was still on that higher threat there, Joe.
Yeah, Logan, I'm keeping a close eye on the, this tornado-warned portion of this line. Now, these little kinks that we were seeing, they're kind of starting to almost, it's not the exact location where I'd be, I'm overly concerned about something dropping down. In fact, the latest data coming in, this little area south of Panther here, south of Highway 44, that's a little spot that I want to keep a close eye on. And you see, that's where the winds are kind of coming into this storm. And then you've got the outbound, in fact, got those mixed around. Inbound, outbound, this is where we've got those coming together. And that's where we're watching some of that rotation. So continuing to monitor that as this tornado warning is going to continue for the next little bit here. If you're anywhere within this tornado warned polygon, please do get into your tornado safe spot, Dallas and Guthrie counties. Now, if you're a little bit closer to Guthrie Center and you're wondering about this tornado warning because you were very close to it, it is safe for you if you are in Guthrie Center to come out of your tornado safe spot. The storm has passed, but any location like Linden, the storm is beginning to kind of pass through completely, almost there. If you're in Linden, I want you to stay in your tornado safe spot for just a little bit longer. But if you're in Minburn, hopefully you're already in your tornado safe spot. If you're not, head there right now because this storm is beginning to move into town. Dallas Center, we're going to be seeing this very soon. So head to your tornado safe spot if you're in Dallas Center, if you haven't already. And Adele, you are just to the south of this tornado-warned area, but likely some gusty winds, and of course very heavy rainfall. Having moved through Adele already, and the strong winds do continue at this time. But we're seeing a pretty bright return here. So even though we're not seeing a close, very close together couplet between those inbound and outbound winds, these brighter returns here. These are very strong wind gusts being picked up, and we're close enough to the radar site that I would not be shocked if it gets very close to the wind speeds that I'm going to sample up here near the surface. So radar picking up 70-mile-per-hour winds within this storm, but again, close to the radar site. So it is a radar beam a little bit closer to the surface. So we may be seeing some very strong winds here. That is going to pass just to the south of, and it's continue on south of Highway 44 here and continue moving east. This area of the strongest winds is going to be passing through and passing over right now, Highway 169, and that 70-mile-per-hour wind being shown by radar is still showing up in this latest data scan. So this is a dangerous level of wind. Dallas Center, you are going to potentially see the strongest portion of this. It will take one more scan for me to kind of know whether this is going to pass to the north, but close enough. Dallas Center, be prepared and get ready. If you are, head to your tornado safe spot. It's going to be the best place regardless of what's going on. That's where you need to be. Lowest interior room of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And if you have a basement, that is number one, always. If you've got a basement, that is the best place to go. So, Logan, we've got a pocket of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that potentially is starting to get very close to Dallas Center. And we would see this come into eventually here because of how fast it's moving. It's not going to take too long. But we'll see if this holds. And if it does, we are talking north side of the metro here. Picking up on potentially that strongest area of those winds. So that's an area that we will continue to watch closely, Logan.
Yeah, I have a couple things to talk about that, Sneal. We'll take a quick look outside on our West Des Moines Sky Tracker. A little bit earlier when Joe was talking, starting to see a lot of rainfall coming down across the area. We can take a look. It does not look good outside. Starting to see some lightning flashes across that area as well. Saw some rainfall and some gusty winds. Camera was shaking a little bit. Probably expect that here within the next couple of minutes. But we'll take a look here. Back onto our Doppler radar. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Clark, Decatur, Lucas, and Wayne, and this one has the destructive tag on it. And we can tell here 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, hail size up to about an inch. And you can really tell with that this little bend right here. That's where we have the front part. These winds right here, this is where we're starting to see a lot of that faster winds really push into the area. We can see these strong gusts come through the area, which is why it does have the destructive tag. I'll get a quick little time stamp on here so we can see when it comes and affects your area if you are in here. So this storm is moving east at about 55 miles an hour. So I'll zoom out here and I'll grab a tracker, see when it's going to affect your area here. So we'll grab that leading edge of the storm. We're starting to see the strong gusts in the area. Now this is going to be until 8 a.m. So Woodburn, 7:22, next 3 minutes. Houston, 7:29. Lucas, 7:29. Whitebreast, about 7:34. Sheraton, 7:37. Russell, 7:41, and then Melrose at 7:48. This one does have the destructive tag, so make sure you stay inside. 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts can do as much damage as tornadoes as well, with especially straight lines. And then just a little bit behind that, actually, too, there is a flash flood warning that I'll talk about here quick. It's going to be for portions of, let's take a look, Adair, Adams, Madison, and Union County right here. I'll click on that and see what they're really saying about this flash flood warning here. So between 2 to 3 inches of rainfall have already fallen, so flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. And I'll take a look past 6 hours of rainfall over this. And you can tell those places that got the 2 to 3 inches, that yellow right there, a lot of heavy rainfall. And it wasn't even over that area for a long time. This was probably about in the span of an hour or 2 hours, just heavy rainfall that causes it to flood pretty easily. And we've seen a couple reports already about the potential for places that have been flooding or even basements flooding. And overall, taking a look past 6 hours, we have seen a nice heavy streak along I-80 in Nebraska, pushing over into southwestern Iowa, and mainly staying under now in for under I-80 now into Iowa. Still some heavy rain over in Carroll and Audubon as well. So that's all I have up for updates right now. Joe, is there anything new on your side?
Just continuing to watch this this area of the strong winds that is passing into or coming into the north side of Dallas Center. Not maybe not at the center of the city, but on the north side of town. This is still radar picking up on around 70-mile-per-hour winds with this little pocket here. So this is going to continue moving to the east and a little bit northeasterly track, and so. With that, I'm going to use a drawn line here just to kind of show a little bit of that curvature of where this will head. So we're kind of looking at a general track of about right here. This is a very small pocket of very strong wind gusts, but this is also still part of the tornado warning, but they have not issued anything farther to the east at this point. But even still, if you're anywhere near this blue line that I've drawn, please do take this little portion of this storm very seriously. 70-mile-per-hour winds. We may even have possibly some small hail. I'll double check that. Real quick, not looking at too much hail with this, thankfully. It is going to be primarily a wind threat, and also have to continue to watch for any little pockets of rotation within that. But that is a very strong wind gust signal that is moving through Dallas Center right now, and will continue off to the northeast. Want to continue to check on this line of storms down here. And this is the severe thunderstorm warning that Logan gave you some of the details on just a second ago. But if you're just tuning in, this severe thunderstorm warning does have the destructive tag to it because of 80-mile-per-hour winds potential, and that potential with this line of storms. See this purple and how it's bowing out right here. This is that surging forward part of the line segment that we get the strongest winds. And that's where the strongest winds occur. So let's put another track on this here. Want to keep a close eye on this because it is the most dangerous warning that we have currently outside of the tornado warning, and there is a new one to tell you about. So they have issued another tornado warning, extended, then just put it a little bit farther to the northeast. So this now includes portions of Boone, Dallas, Polk, and Story County. You see some of the locations kind of within this here, and they've issued it with that pocket of very strong wind gusts that we have been showing and been talking about as it began to get a little bit closer to Dallas Center and is now moving to points just north of town and will eventually be northeast. So this is coming towards Granger here. I'm going to put a new track on this. This will go right through this new tornado warning. I want to make sure I've got my storm speeds right. Moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. If you are going to be anywhere within this track that I'm going to put up here, bear with me one moment and I'll have that for you. Please make sure that you are seeking shelter. This is a part of a new tornado warning here. So, as it gets a little bit farther out, you notice how the cone gets a little bit larger. So we'll have to see if there are any ebbs and flows to the north or south, any wiggles to where that strongest wind's going to be coming in. But if you're in Grimes, this is going to pass just to your north, but still want you to keep in mind and seek shelter as you are kind of right on the edge and right within that tornado warning. But if you are in Ankeny, Huxley, Colo, eventually up towards State Center here, do start to have your plan ready, especially if you're in Ankeny or Huxley, to head to your tornado safe spot, because this is tornado warned. And we're also not only watching for more of that rotation, but even if the rotation does not hold within this whole area here, or it just, if it doesn't hold itself together with the rotation, still upwards of 70 mile per hour winds is going to be a threat. And Logan made a great point just a little bit ago. 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts can produce just as much damage as a tornado. So straight line winds are just as dangerous, and we want you to just, of course, be as safe as possible, especially with this. Logan, is just, these storms are moving through central Iowa at a rough time just because it's right in the heart of the commute.
Yeah, and speaking about that, I just want to take a look at this. This is outside on a West Des Moines sky tracker. That camera is shaking. That visibility has dropped. I probably can't even see a quarter mile past, and you can tell that heavy rainfall is coming down.
It's like falling
right
sheets.
outside our station. Yeah, you can barely see. The whole camera just looks gray. You can't really see anything far ahead. This is not ideal driving conditions. Very heavy rainfall, fast winds coming across this. So make sure you drive safe. I would avoid driving if you can throughout this time period. I would wait till after maybe 9 o'clock. I think Des Moines is going to be out of that area in terms of severe weather by about 9 a.m. in the morning, because this is just not safe to drive in, I would say, Joe.
Yeah, no, this is, and gosh, guys, if you know anyone that's on the roads right now, hopefully they're pulled over somewhere, pulled off, because, yeah, that's not exactly ideal commute conditions there. So this is a very strong area moving into the Des Moines metro as we speak. So very, very gusty winds here in West Des Moines at the station. We can hear the wind, we can hear the rain. But we've also been continuing to track an area of rotation that has prompted this tornado warning here. This is beginning to move into Granger. Let's get another check of the velocity. Now, this is very close to the radar site. You can see it for the National Weather Service in Johnston. Radar dome right there. So as it's kind of close, things may look weaker or look a little bit more muddled, but do know that that area of rotation and the strong winds is still persistent within here. It just may not show up with quite the the brightness, or at least show itself because of how close it is to radar. Things can look a little bit weird when it gets real close to the radar site. So continuing to monitor for that and continue to treat this as a tornado scenario, and do seek shelter. But because it is so close to the radar site, do want to give you a look at this tornado warning here. Now, this does extend through Granger up to Madrid and Huxley. Now, Madrid, the area of the strongest winds in rotation, may pass just to your south. But if you are kind of center cut within this polygon, please do take it seriously and head to your tornado safe spot and stay there. Allow all of this to pass, because this is likely not the last tornado warning that we're going to see, for one, but we're also going to continue to have to monitor, Logan, just how strong those winds are, especially with that surging line that is beginning to get a little bit closer to Sheraton. And that is a part of the storm that has that destructive 80-mile-per-hour wind tag to it. There is plenty going on, even if you are not under a tornado warning. These storms, this line is still producing incredibly strong winds that can do as much damage in isolated spots as a tornado can, Logan.
Yeah, and if you are joining us right now, this is what it looks like right outside of West Des Moines. Visibility picking up a little bit, but it's still heavy rainfall and heavy gusts. And taking a look here on our mezzo on Walnut cam, nothing so far, still seeing some rainfall, but we are pointing east on this camera, so we're not really seeing the bulk of that weather just yet, but it is going to be getting to the Des Moines area, getting here sometime soon. Now, in terms of what we're seeing, big picture, severe thunderstorm watch is going to be until 10 a.m. for portions of southern, but also central Iowa, including the Des Moines metro area. This is going to be for the next 2.5 hours. They have started canceling some areas on the back end, especially over near Nebraska and Iowa, have seen those counties get out. But we're just seeing very strong gusts coming across the area. I'll put on our storm relative velocity. You can tell these bright colors, it's just heavy, it's just fast wind going across the area. And we're still seeing, I would say, some pretty decent hail. I'll take a look back on here to see that line of hail going all the way, just getting past I-35, going from New Virginia, St. Charles, Highway 69, getting onto Highway 65, Lucas, Woodburn, continuing Leroy here soon, Van Wert, just a heavy, just large hail going along this path here. And that is pretty consistent with what we're seeing here on our Doppler radar with that high color of pink right here, this line that we're seeing on the leading edge. That's where we're going to see the most severe hail, but also the most severe wind. That little bow anchor right there, that's the fastest one really pushing out. That's what gives it that little curve in the front, which is why we do have that destructive tag on the severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Clark, Decatur, Lucas, and Wayne. It has that destructive tag. Winds up to 80 miles an hour. That can do more damage than the tornado if you have these strong straight line winds pushing through. Hail up to about an inch for this one. So this is one we're really keeping a close eye on for that severe wind threat coming across the area. And then just up north of the metro area, we do have a tornado warning. That's for another 15 minutes for Boone, Dallas, Polk, and Story. And taking a look at the rotation on for this one right here, you can still see some of that little kink into the area. It's just really close to the radar. Kind of tough to see there, Joe, but that's all I have updated for right now. Joe, you seen anything else?
Continuing to track that, and also Dana sent in a note about power outages. We're starting to get more reports of power outages, and I do believe one of our digital producers, Rachel, said that we do have an article up about the power outage numbers that will continually be updated. So you can head to our website, weareiowa.com, to check that out and keep checking in there. But, if you're still haven't seen the storm move in yet, before checking power outage numbers, do be staying safe with this line. So you notice here how it is all one line, but we've got this little segment here that's bowing out a little bit. Then you've got another one that is currently tornado warned that kind of stretches down through the Des Moines metro, and then you've got another one here. So we've got multiple bowing segments within this line, which is why the wind threat is going to continue to be one of our primary concerns. But we also have primary concerns for areas of rotation to show up, and potentially very quick spin up tornadoes. They can happen in this scenario, and so even if you are not under a tornado warning, the severe thunderstorm warnings and the type of wind that has been reported at times with this, you see all the bright returns here within that line of storms. These are still incredibly strong winds. We're likely seeing spots get 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, potentially even higher than that, where we do have the destructive tag to the severe thunderstorm warning. And as I keep it on velocity here, Now, it's not an incredibly strong area, but just in the last scan, seeing a little development of maybe something trying to rotate kind of within here, right near Derby. And this is going to continue east towards Highway 14. That's an area that we'll keep a close eye on. If you're out ahead of that, I would say just get into your tornado safe spot just to be 100% safe and certain with this. That's an area that we're going to have to continue to watch. And I'm going to keep it on velocity and move a little bit farther north here up towards the Des Moines Metro. So, as Logan mentioned briefly there too, it's very close to the radar site, so things get a little bit muddled, a little bit hazy as far as it's not as clear of a view for us to look at things as this line of storms is moving through. But this is still tornado warned at this time. And this tornado warning is going to continue to remain in place as this storm starts to get into more into kind of a southeastern Boone and also kind of the far southwestern corner of Story County. And this tornado warning is going to continue through 7:45. So, Logan, we've got. And in fact, you're going to tell us a little bit about a new watch that's been issued.
Yeah, so portions of that severe thunderstorm watch have been replaced by a tornado watch. This is going to be including portions mainly eastern Iowa and heading into southeastern Iowa as well. This is going to be until 3 p.m. So some of those counties, just like east of I-35, have been replaced with this tornado watch. Now, some of the things they're saying about this is a couple strong tornadoes are possible throughout that time frame. Scattered hail up to about 2 inches possible, and widespread gusts up to 80 miles per hour likely with this tornado watch. That is until 3 p.m. for portions of Iowa, and it has took over some of those severe thunderstorm watch counties as well there, Joe.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on a few things within our teams chats and the National Weather Service chats. So someone was saying that within Union County, someone called in and said that their house was hit by a tornado, and first responders are reporting major damage with road blockage and downed power lines. That is a report that someone called in, and that is something that came over. I believe it came over the scanner, and that's where this Facebook page heard it. But nonetheless, that's something for us to keep an eye on. We'll keep you updated with anything, any other developments or any other information that we have on that. And I do want to say, and thank you, Dom, for letting me know. So I do want to say that that is a plausible scenario, because things can happen so fast with these tornadoes within these Boeing segments in these lines of storms. So again, even if you are not under a tornado warning, please do continue to take this line very seriously, because things can happen very quickly. And even if it doesn't produce a tornado in exactly where you are located, the wind is enough of a danger and enough of a threat on its own that we want you to still be seeking shelter and getting away from any windows and doors to the outside with that wind, and also especially across that part of the southern portion of this line. That's where we've seen big enough hail to cause some pretty serious damage to Logan. So we'll continue to let you know of any information that we get in. And of course, we're going to keep tracking these storms, because this line is not slowed down, and this is kind of typically how these things behave. On all accounts that I've been talking about here. So, Logan, we've still got a lot of threats out there, even if we don't see a lot of red polygons from this point forward, which would be those tornado warnings. Please do know and keep in mind that things can happen very quickly.
Yeah, I'll take a look here. It looks like one of our producers said that 7,711 people are out of power in Des Moines currently, thanks to a lot of these strong winds and hail. And I'll take a quick look, see if there's anything new with hail across portions. We're still seeing a good hail signal down in portions of southern Iowa, just south of Indianola, heading into Milo, Lacona, Williamson, Sharonton, starting to see some hail, Lucas, but also Leroy and Garden Grove. I'll take a couple of valleys here out of these pockets and see what size we're seeing. I think just about 2 inches, 2.5 for right over there, 1.9, and then 1.6. So we're still seeing some strong hail, but I would definitely say wind is the biggest threat that we are seeing. Those straight line wind can cause a lot of damage just in general, more than tornadoes even sometimes. Just, you have these gusty winds, even up to 80 miles an hour, and still producing a lot of lightning over the past couple hours, still seeing more. And it looks like they did also issue a new severe thunderstorm, so let's take a quick look at that one. It's going to be, let me redo that so it doesn't have the watch on there. I'll get it back on here. Getting more into southeastern Iowa now. Looks like this is going to be for Lucas, Mahaska, Marion, Monroe, Wapello, and Warren County. So let's take a look here, and it is a considerable threat, so it doesn't have that destructive tag because the wind speed is not 80 miles an hour. It's at 70 miles an hour compared to the destructive one with the 80. So I'll take a quick look at how fast that this one is moving, and we'll get a quick track on when it could impact your place. So it's moving east at about 55 miles an hour, which is generally what we have been seeing with a lot of these storms. They were faster when they were crossing Nebraska into Iowa at about 65, 70 miles an hour, but they have slowed down a little bit. I think that's one thing the models probably didn't get right. It's supposed to be about 8 o'clock getting into Des Moines. These models are moving, the storms were moving a little bit faster, but I'll grab a little tracker right here and see when it's going to impact your place here for the severe thunderstorm warning. So this is 740 for Russell. So right now, Knoxville 749, La Villa 754, Pella 803, Oskaloosa 808, Cedar 813, and then for Hedrick 823 a.m. So that's some places that could see some impacts by this considerable threat for this severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be until, let me get this up here, this is going to be until 8:30, so this still has about 45 minutes left, and this destructive one has 20 minutes left on it, but we're getting to the back end of this destructive tag, just getting past Sheridan, probably with the hail and the more destructive winds that we are seeing. Places in Oskaloosa, Murray, on the back end of that, I will say. And I'll take a look, too, if there's any cameras that are looking out there. Looks like Des Moines, looking out east, starting to see a lot of the hail. Really can't see the Capitol from here on our mezzo on Walnut cam. Can't really see too much. And taking a look here on our west Des Moines, some lightning right there. Starting to see the back end of the storm. This is a pretty, I wouldn't say a long range storm, a little bit more on the thinner side. So we just have this burst of storms we're going to be seeing, and that's going to be pretty calmer conditions after that. And I'll take a look here on Knoxville. Nothing just yet. Still just seeing some cloudy skies across the area. Joe?
Yeah, want to make mention here. No, Highway 141 is it sees a good amount of traffic during the morning commute hours. It's still working to see if a exact location on this kind of comes in, but Polk County Emergency Management is reporting a tree down, possibly even blocking Highway 141. So they're working to verify the specific location. As soon as we have that information, I'll be sure to pass that along. So we are seeing the evidence of how strong this line of storms is. It's the winds that are causing the greatest issues right now, and likely we'll continue to see that type of action here. But also, we need to continue to monitor little kinks within all of this. And to watch little areas of rotation that try to develop and try to come about, because a tornado can happen very quickly. Even if the tornado ends up being brief, it can happen very, very fast. So continuing to look for different spots that may stand out a little bit to me. I'm not seeing anything specific in any spot that is overly concerning in terms of rotation for me at this very moment. But there are strong winds moving through areas. And also, we did get the location on that tree down, the 8600 block of 141 near Beaver Creek Golf Course. Tree is down, blocking portions of 141 between Grimes and Granger. So the storm is passing and the storm is moving through. However, the damage left behind, do want you all to be aware of that. As you eventually head out for your morning commute here, if you haven't done so already. Do be aware that you may run into some damage around town. We'll continue to relay any reports that we see or get in. Now, this tornado warning here, this part of the storm is beginning to reach the very far northeastern edge of this tornado warned polygon, and does not look as though they have not seen a communication that they're going to continue it. However, would not be surprised to see a continuation of, severe thunderstorm warning as this line continues moving east, because, the potential for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts still very much exists. It's just the area of rotation has been absent, at least the strongest rotation has been absent for a few scans now. So we're also getting reports of estimated wind gusts of between 60 and 65 miles per hour in Sheraton. So a very strong wind still being produced by this line. And Logan, this line of storms is still moving very fast, but we're really seeing that southern part of the line. I mean, this is quite the surge with this. And so there's a very strong wind and a very strong notch punching right into the backside of this line of storms. That's why we see such a bowing segment like this. It is just interesting just how everything is playing out at the moment. So still, all threats is still going to be possible as this line continues moving to the east and the northeast.
Yeah, I just wanted to give some quick reports, Joe. I'll keep you on the screen there for the radar, but our own chief meteorologist, Chris Kubal, did report about 60 to 65 mile per hour gusts in Sheraton at about 4 minutes ago, but also something to note as well, if you were planning on flying today at Des Moines International Airport, there are reporting a good amount of delays and also cancellation. So if you were planning on that, expect not to fly within the next couple of hours or even just canceled in general. But I'll take the screen back over to me, see what we're seeing. Looks like that tornado warning has expired as of 7:45, which it was expected to at that time frame. So now we just have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but not just any usual severe thunderstorm warnings. We're seeing ones with the destructive tag on it, like down here in Clark, Decatur, Lucas, and Wayne. On that tail end, when Chris was reporting that 60 to 65 mile per hour gusts, right there, we can see that little curve right there. That's where a lot of that wind is really starting. So about 4 minutes ago, really start to see that pass. I'll even zoom it back a couple scans, just seeing that gust really start to blow through the area on Sheraton. If you're on Highway 34, a lot of gusts coming through the area near to Melrose right now, heading into Bluff Creek and through that time frame. I'll take a quick look back on this severe thunderstorm warning here for Lucas, Mahaska, Marion, and Warren. Still considerable threat, 70 mile per hour winds and hail size up to about an inch and a quarter. So we're still going to keep tracking this. This is until 8:30, so it still has about 45 minutes left on this one right here. So we're still seeing this line of storms that's going to work its way through the area. Now, Joe, something I'm curious about, I don't know if you have anything about it, but that little, that notch from Elkhart to Indianola to Knoxville, I wonder, what do you think is going to happen, with that little V segment right there, Joe, if you have anything?
Yeah, it's interesting. We may end up seeing a little bit of, it looks like it's going to continue to just, what we'll see is maybe another part of this line farther north become and get a similar look to what's happening as this part of the line moves to Russell, Melcher, Dallas. You notice how it's a little bit stretched out, that Boeing segment. We may start to see that with a strong backside winds kind of punching into the backside of this. May see this bow out a little bit more. So the damaging wind threat is still very much going to be top of mind here. A couple other reports that I want to pass along. We are getting things in from viewers and also hearing a lot of different reports. 280th Street near Adele. There was a barn that was destroyed and possibly even some power lines down. From Madison County Emergency Management, multiple reports of trees that are down and some roads that are partially covered with water, as well as those downed trees. So we're getting the evidence of how strong this line of storms is, and also how heavy the rain is that's falling. Ponding on the roadways can happen pretty quickly. If you run into one of those spots, don't drive through any of that flooded water or any flooded roadway this morning. Do just find a different route to take wherever you may be heading. So we are continuing to see the evidence of how strong this line is, and we are continuing to just see its strength overall. We will continue to have to watch for more kinks to maybe start to show up a little bit. Nothing going on right now, which is good news in terms of a quick spin up tornado threat. Not seeing anything too crazy with the line that is now just to the and pushing just to the east of Des Moines proper, getting into the far eastern part of the metro area, Bondurant, all the way through Altoona and already through Altoona, but places like that. And also still watching for some more rotation that could come about at any moment in time down here in the southern portion of this line. But very strong wind gusts did just recently move through, and likely still some strong wind gusts happening in Sheraton right now. This little area of some of the brighter returns that is just a little bit to the south and east of Sheraton. This is a spot where some very strong wind gusts are likely occurring. And all of this is moving very quickly to the east and the northeast. So the good news is how fast the storms, this line is moving through. We want this to go through and get out of here as quickly as possible, so that we can just kind of move on from this dangerous line of storms, Logan. So the good news, the storms are moving fast, but we are seeing a lot of evidence to just how strong this line is this morning.
Yeah, and there is another severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper, Marshall, Poweshiek, and Story County. 60-mile-per-hour gust, hail size under an inch. This is going to be until 8:30, and it's going to be for this box right here. So we'll take a quick look at this one, and we'll grab how fast it's moving. We'll see when it's going to impact your area. So it looks like it's going to be moving at about 60 miles an hour, so a little uptick in the speed right there for that one. I'll get that put up on here real quick. We'll see when it's going to impact some of the places near Newton, Monroe, and also Marshalltown. So I'll put it to 60. I'll grab it right here along this line. And it looks like some places this could impact Nevada, 753, Prairie City, 756, Newton, 806, Kellogg, 813, Marshalltown, 820, Grinnell, 823, and Montezuma, about 832. In the morning here for that severe thunderstorm warning. I think there might have been a new one as well, a little more south. Yeah, let's take a look at this one right here. This is going to be a considerable threat for the one we're going to be seeing now on that Iowa-Missouri border right here. Let me grab it in this area. Looks like moving at about, about 65 miles an hour. So I'll put that in here, and then we'll see when it's going to affect your area. But for this warning, we're still seeing those strong gusts, 70 miles an hour with that considerable tag. New Buda, 751, Cordon, 8 o'clock, Promise City, 810, Seymour, 816, Centerville, 824, Moulton, 837, and then for Bloomfield at 845. And this one is, I'll also get the time frame for this considerable one here for Appanoose, Davis, Decatur, Lucas, Monroe, Ringgold, Wapello, and Wayne County. This one is going to be until 8:45. 1-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour gusts with the considerable tag. And we're also getting on the last couple of minutes for our destructive severe thunderstorm warning that has the 80-mile-per-hour gusts. About 8 minutes left on this one. And Joe, is there anything new on your side?
I'm keeping track of velocity here, especially on the southern portion of this line. We're starting to see a couple of different spots I want to point out to you here. It's this spot, and this is what we're talking about with the bright and tight. Notice how bright those returns are, and they are both inbound, outbound. This is where they have come together, just north of Cordon, and is crossing Highway 14. Want to monitor that very closely, and I would say points just east of this location, and we're talking south of Bethlehem and just north of Highway 2 here. I would say just be overly cautious if you're at home still and in this area. I would seek shelter. That's a concerning little spot. It is small, but if we see that develop any more than it already has, that is a spot I'd be concerned about for a quick spin-up tornado to possibly occur. And then another little area that is near Allerton here. And so a couple different spots within the southern portion of this line that are getting a little bit more of a concerning look to my eye. So going to continue to keep a very close eye on that. Again, just want to reiterate how quickly things like these areas of rotation can show up and go away. It all can happen very fast, and when the rotation shows up in a stronger way, a quick spin-up tornado can happen within just moments of that rotation showing up to us and what we see on radar. So do keep that in mind this morning. So we're going to continue to monitor for more of those little kinks in those little areas of rotation here. So we're continuing to track all of this for you, and it does look like we've got some VO from Atlantic ready to air, guys. If we could bring that up, that would be wonderful. But until that pops up, still want to continue to track everything for you all here. So we've got some very strong winds showing up, and there's a collection of some photos. This is, again, in Atlantic. Kyla sent these in, and Kyla, thank you for sharing these with us and allowing us to share with our viewer base. Tree down, and just the more of that evidence that we've been talking about to how strong this line is. So there you go. This is bringing down trees. This has continued to bring down trees across central Iowa as it's moved through. And then we're also getting a report of power lines down somewhere within Des Moines. So guys, give this a little bit of time to totally move through. If you don't have to venture out within the next couple of hours here, I know the storm's already moved through Des Moines, but if you can just stay where you're at for a bit, not a bad idea, especially given some of the damage reports that we're getting from Des Moines itself, with power lines down. And anytime you come across a down power line of any kind, always assume that it is hot, it is live. And just find another route to go. Do not drive over any downed lines. Please always assume that they are live and that they are hot. So I want to go back to velocity here. Something we haven't done in a quick second is putting a track on this. So let me double check that storm motion again here. Make sure I've got the speeds right in our system. So, continuing, 55, 60 miles per hour, that's generally the type of speed that we're seeing as far as how fast this line is moving to the east. Let me adjust that real fast here. And I'm going to put it on this surging line, the part of this that is really starting to bow out here. So if you're in Baxter, this is already moving into town right now. So you're likely, if you are located in Baxter, you're likely not only getting in on some very heavy rain, at least that's moving in very shortly, but also very, very gusty winds in Baxter happening as this line moves in. Prairie City by 757 Newton, 805, Gilman 817. Continuing on that easterly and northeasterly track, 822 getting into Grinnell, Toledo by 832, 844 into Belle Plaine, and Van Horn by 8:55. That's with this line segment that moved through the Des Moines Metro and has caused some damage in at least parts of the metro area. And that's why I want all of you that are in the path of this Boeing segment, please do take it seriously. Even if we don't see a tornado warning or if a tornado warning doesn't pop out of this, please know that this is producing damage and you need to seek shelter within these severe thunderstorm warnings and out ahead of these Boeing lines. Logan, this is still a major threat in terms of the wind gusts, and likely, especially with the southern part of the line, we're still likely seeing some hail with that too.
Yeah, it was something that was supposed to be also pick up through the afternoon. We're going to see a front go by. Gusts could get up to 40 miles an hour over time into the afternoon. But something else, just wanted to mention, 8,824 people are without power in Des Moines. I got an update from one of our producers there. I'll keep I-35 southbound near Oskaloosa is blocked because of a crash, but there's no cameras in the area, and I'll take a look anything else. But there is a new severe thunderstorm warning that does have a considerable tag, and that is going to be in Jasper, Marshall, Story, and Tama County. 70-mile-per-hour gust that's going to be getting directly over Marshalltown here soon. So I'll grab a wind speed for that, and I'll get that going for y'all. 60 miles an hour, and I'll get it dragged over here. So find that line of that storm right there. That's where a lot of those gusts are going to be. And this is until 8:45, so this has about 45 minutes left. Baxter, 7:59, State Center, 8:06, Laurel, 8:11, Marshalltown getting to about that area at 8:18, LeGrand, 8:22, Montour, 8:23, and then Toledo at 8:30. So that's that new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued a couple minutes ago. Considerable tag. Now, taking a look on that destructive one, we're getting to the end of that. It has about 1 minute left and has pushed out of that area. So we still, in front of that, we just have these two considerable thunderstorms that do have 70-mile-per-hour gusts associated with it. I'll see if anything's getting picked up on our high-velocity scanner right there.
And real quick, sorry to interrupt you, Logan. Ames, the Ames ASOS station hit 73 miles per hour for a wind gust. Just wanted to make note of that. Incredibly strong winds moving through the Ames area as we speak.
Thank you. But also, just in case you're joining us now, for the bigger picture, we did have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock, until 10 a.m., but they did just recently add a tornado watch that did replace some of the counties in our viewing area, especially over east of I-35. And this is going to be until 3 p.m., where a couple strong tornadoes are possible in this area. Hail up to about 2 inches and gusts up to about 80 miles per hour, which we have seen. These storms have a history of producing strong gusts up to around that. But I'll take a look at our storm relative velocity, see if there's any little things that we can find within here, any little kinks that could produce some rotation across the area. And right now, not really seeing anything. Maybe right there, that's a little bit of a stretch, I will say. But I'll take a look at our rotation, see if there's any shear. I expect it to be a little line, along here. So we have that rotation along that line. There's a possibility, could see that brief spin up that could warrant a tornado warning in the future. So that is a present there. We have some of that rotation coming in the area. And also I'll take a quick look at hail, see if there's anything else. We have seen a ton of hail over the past couple of hours, especially down in southern Iowa. We're going to be showing here a photo soon, right after I measure these right here. We'll take a little, still on Highway 34, Indiana, Melrose. Let's take a total right here, about 2.25 inches, and then just above that, just under 2 inches. So still seeing some of that severe hail coming across the area. So with that, you can do damage to your house and your car. So you want to stay inside, and you also want to get into the most safe place you can in your house, nothing by windows, because we have seen hail destroy windows in past storms. And let's take a look at some hail that we have seen here recently.
Yeah, so this is coming in from Kale in Osceola. And, do forgive me, Kale, if I mispronounce your last name, Wisniewski. That is big enough hail, especially with the winds that have been produced by this line of storms, Logan. That is more than big enough to cause damage, especially when it's getting whipped down to the ground by 70 to potentially even 80 mile per hour wind gusts. As you just mentioned, Logan, and I completely agree, that's large enough hail to cause damage to siding, windows of your home, depending on, of course, the direction that those windows are facing, and also can break out a car windshield or a car window. So please, still multiple threats. The hail is another threat to go along with the winds with this part of the Boeing lined segment. And just because I can't remember the last time that we did actually get a track on this, I'll put a new one on. This just recently moved through the Knoxville area. If Logan, real quick, if you want to check our Knoxville,
I just had that on.
Yeah.
camera. I was, that's what I was going to talk about. Great minds think alike. Nothing I'd say really there, Joe, so much, but still some chances I see. Yeah, nickel-sized hail in Knoxville for the last couple of minutes. Joe, you see anything else?
it looks very spooky, but just know that some of those little wispy clouds on the bottom side it's called scud. And so a lot of times scud clouds can get mistaken for funnels. But do know that what we are seeing specifically there in Knoxville is at least to my eye, it looks like it's just scud. So scud clouds can look a little bit spooky. Logan, I did get a track up here if you want to bring back this. So just want to let you know this is where we've seen the biggest hail signatures within this part of the line. So Albia, hopefully you are already away from windows and doors to the outside. This is a dangerous portion of this line of storms moving in pretty much as we speak. Oskaloosa by 8:15, Ottumwa by 8:29. Hedrick by 8:30, Sigourney by 8:37, Keota by 8:51, 9:02 into Washington. So these are in Washington. I know that is like very far out to the east here. That's part of the good news is that this line of storms is moving so quickly. The bad news is it's producing a lot of damage and causing a lot of issues as it continues to just kind of plow right through central Iowa. So again, if you're in Albia, Eddyville, Oskaloosa, over to Thornburg, Hedrick, this part of the line has hail associated with it, along with those very strong wind gusts that have been just continuing in many different areas within this whole complex of thunderstorms. And I do believe Logan, do we have something to pull up?
Yes, if we can pull it. Looks like we have some video of some downed tree branches, producers.
And is this Emma Stroner? Did she send these in? Yes, she did. And that was in Osceola. Am I correct in that? I think I saw that right. Just want to be sure. Osceola. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Emma and Carter, for being out there this morning. Continue to drive safe and be safe out there, guys. Really appreciate all the work that you're doing for us early on this Thursday morning here. Continuing to see pictures of damage coming in from Dallas Center as well. It looks like quite a bit of tree damage within Dallas Center. So, all of this to say, all of these damage reports, everything that we're seeing, all the reports coming in, is just evidence to this line, how strong it is and how severe it still is at this time. So a couple different spots here. You got this Boeing segment and you've got this Boeing segment. So it's kind of beginning to form into two separate Boeing lines. And so we may end up seeing more of a kind of a concentration of the strongest and most dangerous conditions and winds kind of being concentrated into these two separate Boeing segments. But these lines of storms can have a little bit of odd, or at least a less than typical type of thunderstorm behavior, especially with the winds on the backside that are clearly still punching into a couple different areas, causing these Boeing segments. We're going to continue to see these surging out to the east. And and I've mentioned it a couple times to this point, Logan. We don't want to see these continue to produce as much damage as they have. But what we do want is we want them to keep their same speed. We want them to continue to move out as quickly as possible so that we can have, the threats just move on and move out of central Iowa. But until that happens, we're going to be right here with you.
Yeah, I'll take a look here at the Knoxville camps. Looking, starting to get some action now. You can tell there by that one light is on. You can see some rain finally going its way across the area. Some nice rainfall going across. Not really seeing the camera shake, so I'm not really sure about the winds, I'd say, Joe, but looks to be some decent rainfall coming around that area. And then while we have that camera on, we do have a couple of storm reports I would like to mention quick. So just south in Marion, there was some reports in Knoxville about 1.75-inch hail. And then another report also with 1.75-inch hail. So we're starting to see some of that larger size getting up to almost 2 inches, and also a 60-mile-per-hour gust over in that area as well. Now, I'll take it back over to me quick. We'll take a look at some of the hail. We're seeing a little uptick there on the latest scan, but might have been a scan too late. It looks like there was some decent hail. Yeah, we're starting to get some red back in the area. That's going to be about 3 inches. So heading across Highway 5, getting into Lockman, Heitman, Ward, Albia, parts on Highway 34, getting past Georgetown. Start getting into your safe place. We're going to start seeing some good hail fall back into the area. I'll grab some quick points here. About 3 inches. That's about the size of an apple. So something to note there. We have seen history of storms producing that about 2.5. So we have some pretty severe hail coming through the area. So make sure you get into your safe place if possible. Getting across this area, I'll zoom in here, getting onto 64th Avenue, 145th, 612th Lane, 165th Street. Starting to see a lot of that severe hail. It's going to be moving its way over east, so getting to 160th Street, but also getting into portions of 640th Avenue, 625th, getting onto Highway 137. Starting to see some a larger hail signal there, Joe, going to pick up back into the 3 inches, which we haven't seen probably since a couple hours earlier ago over in southwestern Iowa. So we're seeing a little uptick there with that, Joe.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of an uptick, and we are continuing to see very strong winds. So I'm going to circle multiple spots here. So there's 1, 2, 3. 3 different spots. This is not rotation that I'm circling. This is 3 different areas where we're seeing, at least radar indicated, we're picking up on upwards of between 65 and 70 mile per hour winds being produced in multiple different spots. So this is, still a situation that is, very dangerous with this line. So continue to take the severe thunderstorm warnings very seriously. This is a situation where we don't need a tornado warning to have a threat or a real threat or a real danger. This line of storms does pose that due to not only the hail that it's likely still producing, especially as we see the storm starting to approach Oskaloosa and Eddyville right along Highway 63 there. Hail being produced in here, very strong winds, and that can cause a lot of damage. We're seeing and continuing to get reports in of trees down, and sometime and a couple of those areas that have seen trees down have had partial blockages of roadways. Now, because of the progressive nature of this line of storms and how concentrated it is, we're not seeing much rain on the backside. So the overall flooding threat is diminishing for locations that are north of this area that I've got on radar here. These are all areas that we had some very heavy rain, at least in portions of it, last night. So may have some reoccurring issues in terms of some localized flooding threats could come about across south central and southeastern Iowa as this moves east. So that's just one threat that we're kind of continuing to keep an eye on, but I'm less concerned just because of the progressive nature and how fast these storms are moving out and the fact that there is not a lot of rain on the backside of it. So we got to look at velocity with that southern portion of the line. You see that's where we've got the brightest colors right now. And this is a little bit of this is all kind of contamination showing up over here around Ames and Huxley. But where we see the line of storms, there's still multiple areas within here. Not so much, and the good news is we're not seeing a lot of kinks. Not a lot. You've got a couple small ones in here, but it's not overly concerning to me in terms of a quick spin-up tornado being possible. But certainly through Newton, we've already picked up on some of the stronger winds, and they moved through Baxter just recently as well. And this is coming towards, if you're in Sully, Grinnell, all the way up to Toledo. This is coming your direction, and we're talking wind speeds upwards of anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour will continue to be possible. So, Logan, we cannot let our guard down really at all with this, even though there are no tornado warnings. That is not, it's a situation this morning where we don't have to have tornado warnings out there for these storms to, pose a danger. They're posing a danger as severe thunderstorm warnings on their own right now.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Just with the hail that we have seen in photos and reports, looking like almost apple size, that's just enough to warrant to have being on TV. And also the severe thunderstorm gusts up to about 80. We even had a report for 90 miles an hour over in Essex. That's definitely also straight line winds are a big factor. But something in good news, I will say, the severe thunderstorm warning that I have outlined in blue, because there's just so many in here, actually did get degraded down into a normal severe thunderstorm warning. It did have the considerable tag for gusts up to 70 miles an hour, but now it has been reduced to 60 miles an hour. And then in other good news right now, one of the National Weather Service employees did say that flash flooding threat has decreased for now, since storms have become more progressive. They've been moving faster, and a lack of those storms really staying in the same spot or moving in the same spot. So there's still some localized temporary ponding as possible, especially in towns or cities, but we're starting to see that flash flooding threat go away, which is also another very good sign for these storms moving out. And taking a look just at the past 6 hours rainfall that we have seen across the area, definitely the heaviest rain was over in southwestern Iowa, places that got up to 3 to 4 inches of rainfall, especially in Fremont and Mills County. But as we work our way more to the east, getting almost to I-35 still, some places in Creston, Union, Adams, Adair, and Madison are in a flash flood watch, a flash flood warning actually, until 1:45 p.m. But still some places probably did get about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall so far over the past 6 hours. And also looking up north, some places also over an inch over in Carroll, Jefferson, heading into Iowa Falls and Fort Dodge. So a heavy rainer today, but that threat does look to go downward since these storms have been moving so fast. And in terms of reports that we have seen, I'll put up the last 12 hours. And if you've seen anything so far, or if you have any photos or videos, please send them to us. You can text us at 515-457-1026. Text us any of your photos or videos of any of the storm-related damage that you have so we can put it in reports. It'd be amazing if you could do that, and thank you for that. But taking a look also for that rain threat today, we did have a slight risk for excessive rainfall over that time frame, but I'm expecting that slight to really move out of the way, especially if we have seen a decrease now in that flooding threat. But I do want to take a quick look ahead. I haven't seen the models really what's going to be the impacts over the next couple of hours. So we're starting to see that cluster of storms move its way out into about past 9 o'clock, heading out here. So one thing I do want to look at is about 11 o'clock, 11 to noon, potential for another round of storms. I'm going to put the more severeness on the limited side, north around Ames to Waterloo.
Logan,
but that is a possibility, yeah.
So sorry, going to cut you off here. We got a new tornado warning. This is going to be for Mahaska and Powesheik County. This is with the line segment that is just passed through and is currently still ongoing in Oskaloosa right now. So there's the polygon, this tornado warning, this new one, going to be until 8:45. Let's get a look at the velocity here. So We're seeing a little bit, and there is a little bit of that that signature that we'd be kind of looking for here, just to the north and right around, right near Oskaloosa. That's where we're seeing the greatest spin at the moment. This is what prompted the tornado warning. Something I want to look at is to see if there was anything over the past 2 scans. I want to see if there's anything I can pick up with the debris detection. Nothing specifically, but again, with the rotation that's now showing up, a tornado could come down from this part of the storm at any moment in time. So do head to your tornado safe spot. Let's get a track on this. Going to double check that storm speed real quick. This is a fast mover, so please, this is moving in northeast at 65 miles per hour. So if you see your community, your town pop up here, this storm is moving incredibly quickly and will move in pretty soon. So again, Sigourney by 841, 851 in North English. Now these locations are a little bit farther out. No communities showing up in this area, but I do know for a fact that there's a farmland within this area. You've got rolling hills down here as well. You know, people that live out in the country, outside of some of our communities here. If you know anyone in these spots, double check in, and make sure that they know that this is something that is coming their way and that they need to head to their tornado safe spot, right now, because again, this is moving at around 65 miles per hour. So it's really booking and really just racing more so. And now I do know, and will point out a couple of these. I know that this is kind of a spot in southeastern Iowa where there are some things that are considered ghost towns that show up on our MAX system. And so if it shows up and it's a ghost town, I'm still going to call it out. So you've got Rose Hill, and this is going to be just north of Rose Hill here. This is kind of the general motion of where this area of rotation is going to be moving. So Gibson, Whatshire, just a couple of spots showing up here. This is going to end up north of Delta, but if you're anywhere along Highway 21 here, that's kind of the next highway that's in line to for this area of rotation to pass over. So you've not only got this area. You see where the pixels come together completely. It is right in this circle. You notice the outbound, inbound winds. They're coming together completely right through here. And so this is what prompted this tornado warning that has been issued. And so please do seek shelter if you are anywhere out ahead of this tornado warned spot. So we're going to continue to monitor that very, very closely, of course. I still am going to be checking in on the debris detection. This is, let's see, how high is radar getting up into this part of the storm? We're talking radar going up about 5,000 feet. That's how high up into the atmosphere that the beam is shooting in this area with these storms. So it would take a little bit for something to get lofted all the way up to show up on our debris detection, but we will keep a very close eye on it. I want to make sure there aren't any other areas that we need to keep a close watch on, and it looks more to me farther south that it's really, this is the most concerning spot. So we're going to keep an eye on any reports that kind of come in from this area here. But again, if you're anywhere out ahead of this and anywhere within the tornado warned polygon here, please do head to your tornado safe spot. Head there right now if you're anywhere within this because of how fast this storm is moving. So again, counties included on this are Mahaska and Poweshiek counties. This will remain in place until 8:45. Now, this is eventually going to be moving out to the east of the Local 5 coverage area, but of course, we're going to stick with you all the way through to the end of this. And we will stay with you and bring you any updates that we have. Logan, I'm going to send it back over to you. Give me and bear with me for a quick second, and
Joe, keep going.
Going to keep going. So we've this is the newest warning that we have here, and it is the only tornado warning that we currently have in any part of central Iowa. However, areas like what just moved through Marshalltown, this Boeing segment, still very strong winds likely being produced by this. It is just that this area right here is where we're seeing some of the strongest rotation that has shown up over the past couple of scans. So continuing to keep very close eye on this area especially. So let's get another look at the velocity in this spot. Gonna keep track of the newest data that's coming in here. Give me just one moment. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything as far as reports to pass along. And it looks like I am up to date as much as possible. So this is still showing up, not quite as tight within here. Do want to look at this on the bigger screen and give a full analysis. Okay, still coming together, not as bright and not as tight as what we had just one scan ago. But I've mentioned several times this morning that this type of rotation and the rotation within the lines of thunderstorms happens so quickly. It can show up for a scan or two, go away, but within a couple of radar scans, which is a timeline of around, anywhere between 3 to 6 minutes for 2 radar scans, a tornado can be produced in that short amount of time when you get this rotation. Do continue to take that tornado warning very seriously. I'll go back to reflectivity here. Again, this is until 8:45, including parts of Mahaska and Poweshiek County. If you are anywhere, this has moved a good distance, even just the last 5 minutes. Logan, this line of storms is really racing, which means it's going to be moving out of central Iowa quickly, but gosh, it is leaving behind quite a bit of damage, not just around Des Moines, but we've seen several communities pick up on some damage from this line of storms.
Take it over to here quick. We new update on the SPC outlook. They did put out a moderate.
Oh, wow.
Just outside of our area, though, by a county or two. This is going to extend all the way over into Chicago for that level 4. And they did really upgrade the tornado threat for this as well. Taking a look here, we do have that red there, that high chance for tornadoes. I think it's going to stay out of our area. We're still in that medium for right now. But one of the other big things that we have been looking at is just the wind. And there's a very high that's maxed out on our graphic for that wind threat. Places here also very high over into Ottumwa. So this is something we're still going to be looking at, but it is going to be getting out of our area soon here. But I'll take a look back into our Doppler radar. We still have that tornado warning and a couple severe thunderstorm warnings over into Sigourney, Washington, and other places around there. And this tornado warning has about 20 minutes left on it. I'll see if there's any rotation left around this area. Looking to see maybe a little brief right there or around these areas, starting to see some rotation, but nothing too much, I would say, right now, Joe. But taking a look here at our shear detection, still some rotation on that front edge of the line. Looks like it did weaken just a little bit on that last one. Still some chances on that front edge for a little spin up that could possibly happen with that as well. And looks like we did get an upgrade to one of the severe thunderstorm warning, so I'll bring that one back up. Looks like it did get a considerable tag just up north here for this one right here, getting into Tama, Jasper, Marshall, Poweshiek, Tama. Considerable threat. Hail threat's going to be lower, but still 70-mile-per-hour winds are going to be possible with this storm. And Joe, is there anything else you're seeing?
Nothing new here. But what I do want to say is that because of the type of wind that is still being produced by this, we're starting to see this reach the eastern edge of the local 5 coverage area. We're going to stay with you as long as this tornado warning is still in place. And I also want to continue through this, see this line through central Iowa. So we will get get you all back to regularly scheduled programming, but until then, we're going to stay with you through this line, moving through once it gets through all of central Iowa, because the threats are still going to remain very strong within our local 5 coverage area here and points eastward. And I do believe we do have something to pull up here. Is that right, Logan?
Yep, we have a video in Sheraton if producers want to pull that up quick.
Yeah, we've got it. There, oh wow. Yeah, the rain, I mean, the wind is strong, and I always thought this growing up, that wind must be strong if it looks like the rain is coming down in sheets that are moving sideways. Very heavy rain, and not sure if there was any hail within that, but certainly to me, Logan, it looks like very strong winds, and of course, incredibly heavy rain as that was moving through Sheraton.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look here on our Knoxville camera too. Looks like there's still some rain across that area. Not as intense as we saw earlier, but just on the edge of it now, and I'll take it back to me. Looks like they did also cut off a good portion of that tornado warning that's still here until the next 30 minutes. They took off some of that back part near Oskaloosa. So now we're these 2 counties here in Mahaska and Poweshiek. I'll take a quick look here at our storm relative velocity for this one. Still can see just a little bit of a kink right there with that rotation near Spring Valley. Not as broad, not very pronounced right now. We'll take a look at also some gusts across the area recently. Did get another storm report of hail of about an inch near Albia, 1 mile south-southwest. In that area, we'll take a look at some gusts here, 60 in Ottumwa, 25 in Sheraton. They had 65 earlier, but we're starting to see 44 in Marshalltown, 47 in Iowa Falls. So we're still seeing strong gusts produced with these areas along this line of storms coming across the area. Joe?
Yeah, so we something else I want to keep an eye on and also mention here is there's a little bit of an action going on behind this line. It's called a wake low, and it's just an area of concentrated strong winds are behind the main line of storms. And that is something that very strong winds still happening in Ames. And that's a part of what I was just mentioning there. So if you're in Ames and you're still getting very strong winds and you're wondering, how come? Well, it's just it's a bit of an action going on behind the main line. So we do have a video of some flooding. Before we get to that, guys, I just want to continue to take a little bit of a closer look along the line, this line here with in terms of velocity. So I just want to be sure that we're not missing any areas that we need to keep a close eye on as far as rotation goes. I want to check this spot. So it's not near as pronounced here, but there is a little bit of rotation kind of within this part of the line, right around Ottumwa. It is not overly concerning, but just something that I'm noticing here, and a little bit of a kink showing up just to the north of Hedrick that we'll keep an eye on as well. But that's what I've got for now, Logan. I think it's time to pull up that video. I believe it's flooding in Ames on Grand Ave. Oh boy. So everyone, turn around, don't drown. This is why we say it. You've got, it looks like we've got a sedan in there. We've got a van. We've got a crossover SUV of some kind in there. I don't care how big your vehicle is. Even if you've got a lift kit truck, don't drive through stuff like that because, well, there you go. You can get stuck in those flooded areas. And I know that is a spot that does typically flood in Ames during heavy rainfall, but whether it typically floods or not doesn't mean you should drive through it. And there's the evidence of that with all those stalled vehicles there, Logan.
Yeah, and just a couple of inches of rainfall has the ability to cause your car to not flood, but be able to move off course too. And same thing, I think it's like about 3 inches can sweep you, a fast moving water can sweep you off your feet. And do we have the other video yet for the Oskaloosa tree damage potentially? Put that on the air. Joe, if you see if it's up there.
Yes, we do have it up. So it's coming in from Braden and Osceola. Yeah, that's, oh gosh, I hate seeing that because that looks like it's such a beautiful tree that has sustained some damage there. And Braden, hopefully everything around your house, around your home is okay and safe. Thanks for sending that in to us. And looks like your back porch or that porch there took a little bit of a beating from some of those tree branches that came down. So this is all to say that this line is still very strong, still is producing damage as it moves through central Iowa. We're seeing this get to the eastern edge of the Local 5 coverage area, but we are going to stick with you through this just because of everything that we've seen up to this point and everything that is still going to pose as far as threats with this line of storms. And this whole southern area here is severe warned. We're looking at wind gusts being kind of a primary threat with that. And so real quick here before Logan, I'm going to send it back over to you. Just want to do another refresher on some of these warnings here. So this severe thunderstorm warning, this is the one that is farthest south along the Iowa-Missouri border. And this one is for 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and you see there 1 inch hail as well, quarter-size hail possible. As that part of the line continues moving through this area, these are areas that had very heavy rainfall and saw the storms from last night. And so some localized flooding problems may come about. So keep that in mind. We may end up seeing a flash flood warning potentially, get issued in Appanoose and Davis County because of what is going on there right now. So want to make sure there's so many warnings that are getting picked up that it all gets a little bit kind of cluttered as far as which one it wants to choose. So this tornado warning still in place, and it looks like it will remain. They might cancel it a little bit earlier because of how fast this is moving, but still 8:45. If you're anywhere within this tornado in this red polygon here, if you're on the kind of southwestern side of this, I think it's safe to come out of your tornado safe spot. But still, if you're anywhere, Montezuma down to Gibson, stay in your tornado safe spot. Storm is moving through right now. And then we've got more severe thunderstorm warnings farther to the north, a considerable tag with this one as it has already moved through Marshalltown. And we're starting to see the strongest activity moving through Toledo up to Gladbrook. And this is 70 mile per hour wind gust, primary threat with this one, and just under quarter-size hail. So likely some nickels and dimes being produced by that. So there's just a little overall quick refresher. Logan, give me a quick second, and I'll be back. But I'm gonna send it over to you here right now.
Sounds good. Yeah. So. One thing we have been seeing, another good trend, is that hail threat really wasn't, the biggest part of that hail threat was going to be earlier this morning, where we saw some of that apple-sized hail, but it has gone down. That was supposed to be expected too with today's storms heading into later morning, heading into the afternoon. Hail wasn't the big threat today, or at least the afternoon round of storms is going to be tornadoes and wind. And we can take a look at that time lapse here. Over the past hour, we saw that the pretty consistent band of 2 inch hail that was going across the area, even getting up to 3 inches. as we just get past Sheraton, getting up to that some of that orange right there into Albia. But we have seen a nice downtrend in terms of hail, getting up maybe to about pea size now heading into Sigourney. So that is one good trend that we are seeing across the area. And it looks like nothing new that I can see right now in portions in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. I'll bring up the bigger picture, what we're seeing right now. Still have that tornado warning for another 8 minutes across the area, but we're starting to get now east of I-35 for all of these thunderstorm warnings, and could also see some counties here for the severe thunderstorm watch get taken out. I would say more of those western counties, but we do have a tornado watch that is going to be until 3 p.m. today for some chances for tornadoes to come across that area later into the day. And for that, Joe, I do think these storms have moved a little faster. I think that might give it a extra more time for that atmosphere to rebound, you'd say, Joe, potentially?
Yeah, as far as, getting into this afternoon, because one thing that, Logan, we're going to have to watch for a little bit later today, and great point, with how quickly these are moving through. We may see, depending on where that front is currently located, certainly east of where the cold front's positioned right now, we're going to have a chance at seeing another round of some strong to potentially even more severe thunderstorms. It just looks like the focus of that is going to be kind of that far eastern part. Really, where this line of storms is moving through right now, I would say the threat is greater off in that direction, but yes, we do have to still watch for another round later today associated with and just a little bit out ahead of the cold front. But those that are to the west and northwest of the cold front, so we're talking western Iowa, northwest Iowa, you are out of all and any severe threat today. It's going to be more focused across eastern and southeastern Iowa.
Yeah, I do agree that that's a great point. They did put that moderate in for that as well. Another thing too, winds are going to pick up throughout the day as well, especially as we start seeing that front roll by. I'll put up our quick wind tracker right here. See, expect those gusts, especially in that afternoon, potentially get up to about 40 miles an hour as we start seeing that front really start to push through. But after that, the gusts are going to subdue a little bit, get down below 20 miles an hour for the rest of the day. So we're going to be seeing some windier conditions as we head throughout that afternoon, just to keep you aware. It's going to be a pretty breezy one outside today during that time frame. It looks like they did expire that tornado warning. That is now officially no more tornado warnings in our local 5 viewing area at the moment. Looks like National Weather Service Quad Cities did issue one in their area. If I'm right, Joe, that's their
this newest tornado warning.
Yeah.
So here's. Does that both Iowa and Keokuk County? So Keokuk is kind of an edge spot for the local 5 coverage area. I know there are folks in Keokuk County that do get our signal. I just know that it's maybe a little bit more spotty in that area, but let's still cover and continue on air with this for folks in Keokuk County.
Yeah. Take it back to you, Joe.
Yeah, let's get a look at the velocity here. So this, I'm assuming and I'm guessing that the kind of area that they issued this new tornado warning for, there's a little spot of a little bit of rotation within the storm right around Sigourney right now. But then otherwise, I think it's this little kink right in here, right near Highway 22, the intersection of Highway 22 and trying to think, very close to 92. It's a little farther south. But anyway, another little kink here at something to keep a close eye on for sure. This is all going to be continuing to move east-northeast. So, Keota, North English, this may end up just south of you, at least the area of the most concerning rotation that's showing up. And we're also getting to the point here where we bounce between radar sites. You've got, this is Des Moines radar here, go a little bit farther east, and this is now Davenport's radar. So when you see radar change like that and change the look, that's what's happening. We're just kind of bouncing between radar sites as far as which one is closest to these locations. So looking at Davenport's radar site, there is a strong surge of wind right here just south of North English along Highway 149 that will continue moving northeast, and looks like a little bit of a rotation trying to kind of get going within that. So I would guess that that's kind of the reason for this newest tornado warning here, which does include portions of both Iowa and Keokuk County. So we'll continue. We're going to remain on air and remain with you through that tornado warning, because again, I do know that there are folks in Keokuk County that still do get our signal. So we want to be there for you while this storm approaches and is beginning to move into Keokuk County.
Yeah, and I think we have 2 photos from Knoxville to put on air quick. Joe, if you want to
got some hail, yeah. This one coming in from Kate. Kate, thank you for sending that in. Looks like got some peas, got some marbles, couple dimes, up to a quarter maybe in there as well. So that is hail from Knoxville. This is also from Knoxville, sent in from Doug. Those are slightly bigger hailstones. That's beginning to approach, getting close to ping pong ball size. At least I think that's the size of around a ping pong ball. Nonetheless, that is slightly larger hail there that Doug has in his hand. But also still from Knoxville. So Doug, Kate, thank you both so much for sending those in. And there's Kate's photo of the hail that she picked up. Thank you both for sending those in, and hopefully everything's okay where you guys are located and around Knoxville. For everyone there. So we continue to see this line surging to the east. Keeping an eye on things. It's not moving as fast to the east on this kind of southern edge of this line. And the only concern I have with that is not just still very strong winds likely being produced by this as it moves east, but also the threat for some reoccurring flooding problems. We did have some observed flash flooding that went on in parts of Appanoose and Davis counties last night. And with the slower movement of the southern edge of this line, may start to see some reoccurring issues in that regard. Something to keep in mind if you're anywhere within Appanoose and Davis County. Got some heavy rain that's going to be moving in, and that it could create for some more problems in terms of the heavy rainfall to go along with, of course, the general threats of wind and even continuation of some small hail potentially with that, Logan.
Yeah, I was just taking a look a little more up north over in Tama County. Still have that considerable threat for severe weather, 70-mile-per-hour gusts. This one also does have a tornado tag as well, or looks like one of them. I don't know which one it was selecting, but here in Tama County, we do have that considerable threat for severe weather with 70-mile-per-hour gusts still going through across the area with that little curve right there. That's where the strongest winds are right now, getting into Elberon and getting past Troy right now, heading to LaPorte City and Vinton here within probably the next few minutes, but still strong gusts. And we'll take a look here on our storm relative velocity. You can see so that those brighter colors with that red. So that red means it's moving away from the radar, which is over here in Des Moines. So it's starting to push its way over there. And we have that bright color. So it is moving out there. And Joe, is there anything else you have?
Nothing new. Got just little something that I'm replying to here. If you could keep going for just a little bit here, Logan.
Yeah, they did issue a new severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like for Appanoose, Davis, and Wayne County. So I'll take us down to there. Looks like this is just going to be normal severe thunderstorm warning, radar indicated hail size less than 3/4 of an inch, which we have seen that hail threat gone down dramatically since the beginning since we've had a cut on TV. Wind speeds just around 60 mile per hour for gusts that we're seeing across that area. I'll take a quick look also at rainfall rates that we have at rainfall that we've seen over the past 6 hours. Still seeing a lot of places getting a good amount of rain, getting up to over an inch, and I'd say a lot of places even up to 2, even localized reports up to 3 inches of rain, especially down in southwestern Iowa over near Plattsmouth, Malvern, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. Some reports of flooding have been known through that as well. And in terms of rain rates, what we're seeing pretty hefty amounts of rainfall coming down at that time. Let me find it over here, and I'll bring that up quick if I can find it fast. Well, actually, I'll take a look at some storm reports. I'll see if anything else came out for that area right there. Starting to see a hefty amount, especially up in Des Moines. Some thunderstorm damage with winds going through Dallas Center, Grimes, head north of Saylor, but also a good amount of hail, especially along Highway 34. Good amount of hail reports, wind reports across that road there, especially down in southwestern Iowa, almost near Omaha as well over the past couple of hours. And I'll bring up our radar back up into the area. We'll see if there's anything new. Looks like there's reports of sheds down 3 miles west of Gibson and Poweshiek County, and reports of a building and tree branches down in/near the Deep River. It looks like there was also pea-sized hail in Ottumwa at about 10 minutes ago at this time. I'll keep looking, seeing if there's anything new. We still have that tornado warning for Iowa and Keokuk County. I'll see if there's any rotation amongst that area quick. Looks like potentially would be, find the radar quick, around this area right here. Potentially I'll bring up shear as well and some rotation for that. Not really seeing too much in terms of rotation across the area, just some weak shear near North English, south of Parnell and Millersburg. And
Looks like it's broadened out a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely is broadened out. And I'll take a look at our bigger watches that we do have. The severe thunderstorm watch for until 10 p.m., so still have an hour and about 15 minutes left in that. And then we have a tornado watch until 3 p.m. for portions of southern and then eastern parts of Iowa for chances for some strong tornadoes in that time period, Joe.
Yeah, I'm double checking here. I want to be sure about this one. If we continued to have this warning in far southern Iowa for 70 or greater mile per hour winds, we would and will stay on the air with you. Eventually here, we will begin to start to transition over to streaming and continue covering until the severe thunderstorm warnings are fully said and done. But want to stay on air for folks that still do receive our signal in Keokuk County with this tornado warning. As Logan just had a brief glance at the rotation kind of within this that prompted this tornado warning, it has gone away, or at least it's broadened out and isn't as tight as the last couple of scans. So good news in that regard. That's exactly the trend that we want to see. But taking I'm going to zoom out here. And I'm going to give you all a quick overview of just the progression of how things have gone. This is fascinating to watch. So this all started to look pretty intense as it was moving out of Nebraska and into the state of Iowa and into southwestern Iowa. Watch how things evolve and progress as I move the timeline forward through 6, 7 o'clock, moving through the Des Moines metro, and then eventually to where we are currently. And this has been a very fast moving, a very potent line of storms, and one report to pass along from Poweshiek County. Reports of sheds down 3 miles west of Gibson. Reports of a building and tree branches down, and I believe Logan mentioned that one, in or near Deep River. And if we have already mentioned these, I do apologize, but just wanted to make note of it again. And another shed possibly down near Highway 85. So just a couple of things to pass along there. And some of the damage that we've seen out of Corning, Iowa as well, which is back farther to the west. some of the damage that we've seen out of there has been pretty intense. Straight line winds, trees all on top of a barn. And the picture that I'm looking at that came in from someone that is within and around the Corning area. So again, just the potency of this line has very much been present, and Logan, Central Iowa specifically, is very close to getting to the end stages of this line of storms, and we're certainly going to continue to keep everyone in eastern Iowa in our thoughts, but we've got We've got stations and great meteorologists in eastern Iowa that will be covering this line as it continues to progress that direction.
Yeah, the only thing I think I'm seeing right now, I think they did downgrade one of the severe thunderstorm warnings down to a 60 mile an hour, so just a normal one so far across the area. But we still do have this considerable threat for Tama County and 70 mile per hour gusts. But it looks like just over past that tornado warning, and let me see if I can get it up here. Over in Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, and Washington, they do have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30 for 80 mile per hour winds and a tornado possible tag on that one as well. But we're still going to be looking at these 70 mile per hour gusts coming through the area over near Tama, Blackhawk, Poweshiek, and Grundy County. I'll see if there's anything in terms of velocity, if there's any good speed. Still have some brighter colors there on heading into Highway 218, some of those faster winds coming across the area there. But I'm not seeing any signs of rotation anywhere. Joe, I'll take a look at wind gusts, see if anything's been picked up over in that area. Not thinking anything too much. I'll see if there's any, looks like 66 miles an hour over in Marshalltown, 64 multiple times in Ames, 47 in... where is that? Neil Smith, then 44 in Pella. So we saw a lot of gusts earlier today and still throughout the area, 36 in Ottumwa. We saw a report of 60 to 65 in Sheraton. But overall, it has been a very gusty day for these storms across this morning time frame, and it's not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet, Joe.
Yeah, it's been an active morning for sure, Logan. No doubt about that. And if you guys can hear me in the booth, could we go ahead and take the photos of the damage from Corning that we have? So. This is a little snapshot from Corning. This is coming in to us from Alexis Stewart. And you can see the tree damage that happened in Corning. Looks like a fairly large tree that might have come down from the winds there. And possibly even very close to that house there. Hopefully everyone's okay. Alexis, thank you for sharing this with us. It does look like a tree did fall onto that home there in Corning, and so some of the video and the pictures that we've been getting this morning have shown just how intense things have been. So we are looking at a lot of communities have been impacted by this line of storms this morning. We continue to get a lot of reports in, a lot of damaged photos. So this has not been a good morning in central Iowa. Very intense storms. If you are close to or have suffered from damage from these storms in any way, shape, or form, I'm so sorry that you're going through that this morning. Again, a lot of communities have been impacted by this. And so we'll continue to keep you updated with things that we are hearing. But one thing we are going to do is we're going to stick with you until this tornado warning has either been canceled, trimmed up, allowed to expire, any scenario. We want to stick with you through that. But the good news is for central Iowa specifically, we're beginning to come to the end stages of this severe weather event this morning. So just to give you all an idea of what will happen once we have this tornado warning here, which I believe just went away. So Logan, we can. I think we can take this. Let's stay on for 4 more minutes here. Let's get to 9 o'clock, and then we can begin to wrap up and get back to regularly scheduled programming. Logan, the good news is Central Iowa is almost 100% through this, but it is very unfortunate that we are seeing a lot of communities, small and large, impacted from this line of storms this morning.
Yeah, it is sad to see the damage that has been done, even if there was only a couple tornado warnings. So straight line damage, straight line winds can just do so much damage to properties, and I think we've all seen it all. And I was going to take a look here at just what could be happening within the next couple of hours here on our high resolution models, see what it's going to be showing over that time frame. I think that's the one thing this model didn't get. This is one of the still a little bit more outdated in terms of the time frame that this was initialized, because it had storms currently over Des Moines right now. We've seen it move over into Cedar Rapids and other places. But one thing we are going to be looking at is the potential for some more severe weather at around maybe 11 to noon. Potential, I think it's going to be on the more limited side. Could see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings around Ames and Waterloo through Carroll, that little line right there. But then later in that afternoon, we have that chance with that tornado watch for a couple tornadoes heading into that afternoon into around 3 o'clock, and then before it should move out of the area as we head into about 5. But I think the one thing we are going to keep an eye on now definitely is, since that storm has moved really fast, faster than the models expected, faster than we expected, it's going to allow it more time for that atmosphere to really, I think, charge up, Joe, and potentially could enhance the second round we could be seeing over in eastern Iowa.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch for that second round, and no doubt about it. So we are 1 minute 1 minute away from continuing coverage on We Are Iowa Plus and the We Are Iowa app, and our streaming setup. So we are 1 minute left to go. Okay. Perfect. So just to, before we get off of ABC here in our coverage, a lot of communities impacted this morning. If you can safely do so, continue to send us your damage photos and anything that you have from your area. Again, just always be safe, and while you're doing that and gathering that kind of thing for us. But otherwise, we are going to continue to cover at least until all the severe thunderstorm warnings are done in Central Iowa on We Are Iowa Plus. And I want to thank you for joining us and choosing us for your severe weather coverage this morning. We do appreciate your viewership and you watching. For now, we'll get you back to programming. Join us on We Are Iowa Plus. And we are back onto the stream. Are we clear from air? All right, perfect. So, Logan, we're back on stream. I'm gonna take this opportunity. Do you need water or anything, Logan?
Sure. Yeah, might as well fill me up while we're at it.
Yep. Just go ahead and mute my mic, and I'll be back with your water.
Will do.
I'm gonna get.
Yeah, so we're taking a look here. Currently, the bigger picture right now is we have about an hour left on the severe thunderstorm warning here, but I'll bring up my camera right here. So we do have this tornado watch until 3 p.m. The severe thunderstorm watch, the pink right there, that's going to be for another hour. I could see some other counties being taken out of it, but the tornado watch is what we're going to be putting our focus to next in terms of severe weather that could be coming across the area. And we'll take a quick look at our current picture right now that we're seeing. Just a line of severe thunderstorms coming across the area, especially over in that eastern third of Iowa. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings starting up north in Buchanan and Delaware, 60-mile-per-hour gusts down into Tama County. Starting to see gusts of about 70 miles an hour, which has that considerable tag that has moved. That has about 30 minutes left. It's already almost looked like into Waterloo, LaPorte City, where those gustier winds are. And then we have more possible 80-mile-per-hour gusts with this little bow echo that we're seeing across the area through Washington, and still just a couple more. And also down south, there is one pretty more further back because it has been moving slower. And in terms of rain, what we're looking at right now for this one, for Appanoose, Davis, and Wayne County, about 60 miles an hour, and hail is going to be subsevere. That has been one thing I think we have been looking at a lot today. Hail threat was the biggest earlier in the morning, but it has finally gone down just a little bit. We're starting to see maybe about pea size. But let's take a look at the past 4 hours. Just take a look at how much blue, pink, and even red were on this through those bottom 2 counties of Iowa. And it was intense hail. We saw a lot of photos. It looks like it was about apple-sized hail through that time frame, but it just passes through I-35. But then over the past hour, it has seen a nice weakening trend, which is always good to hear because hail is pretty destructive on that throughout that as well. So I'll bring us back to see if there's any rotation amongst these storms here. I'm not really seeing too much, just little pockets of light blue. Thank you, Joe, across that area. So nothing really too much right now. Central Iowa is clear at the moment for any severe storms, but there still doesn't mean we're out of the blue entirely throughout the rest of the day. It's only 9 o'clock. The atmosphere has a lot of time to really recharge and allow for this next set of storms to really maybe pack a punch into the eastern parts of Iowa. But I'll bring up some Skycam, see what we're looking outside right now. Here's our mezzo on Walnut Street cam right here. There was a lot of rainfall earlier that we're seeing here, but nice, just cloudy skies. Still looks pretty wet there on the ground across that area. I'll bring up our West Des Moines sky tracker now. Seeing here, we saw pretty low visibility. Couldn't even see some of the buildings in front of the camera here, and gusty winds and a lot of rainfall, but still just seeing some of that sky is finally opening up a little bit. Can see some of that sun out there, but still it's going to be a cloudy day today. And let's go over to Knoxville. We're still seeing some of that orange right there, that sun, but still a lot of clouds covering the area, but not so much rainfall in terms of what we're going to be seeing now, but still some potential into that afternoon hours heading into the evening. Joe, you have anything new?
Nothing new, but just to kind of get another look here at the final severe thunderstorm warning that we have in any portion of the Local 5 coverage area. If I can get the camera position to where it shows up, it's this one right here, including Appanoose and Davis counties. If those sound familiar from last night, well, that Appanoose and Davis counties are where we had a tornado that dropped down in near Unionville, Missouri, and crossed over state lines. So where we had those storms and the tornado that crossed over state lines from Missouri into Iowa last night, we're seeing this severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45 a.m. So we got still quite a while to go with this warning. It is a slower moving portion of the line. Something that I would be concerned with is not only the threat for damaging wind gusts. The warning itself is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. But another threat here is just with all the rain that fell throughout these areas last night. Just be aware if you're anywhere within Appanoose and Davis County, and that some reoccurring issues may start to come about as we see this portion of the line of storms move through this area. So just something I want you to be aware of. And if this line has already moved through, and I'm talking about just speaking to this morning and the morning threats. If you're behind this blue line, everything with this morning round is done. It is complete. It is finished. We still are going to have to watch for a secondary round a little bit later on today. But for the morning specifically, we are getting into the kind of end stages here, which is welcome news, Logan, for for everyone in central Iowa, just because of all the damage that we've seen. So many communities, large and small, and rural areas impacted by this line of storms. It packed as much of a danger and a concern as what we kind of started to allude to a bit throughout yesterday. We were starting to see kind of the signs that this line of storms was going to push through central Iowa this morning. But the more that we got into last night, the more concerned we became with this. And that concern has been verified. And unfortunately, it did verify. This has been a potent line all morning long, Logan. And central Iowa, as far as the Local 5 coverage area, not 100% out of the woods yet, but we are ever so close to getting to that point.
Yeah, I do have some precipitation reports that I'll just say a couple stuff here. Let me get this just put on here, but here's some Coco Rojas precipitation summaries. So that's just people that have personal weather stations that can give the reports there. So 4.6 miles east of Sheraton, 3.73 inches. Sharonton, 2 miles west-southwest, 3.5 inches. Earlham, 2 miles west, 2.31 inches. Weldon, 1.7 miles west, 2 inches. Newmarket, 4.7 miles north, 2.5 inches. I'll see if they have another region, but it looks like they should have for central Iowa right now. But a lot of places seeing over 3 inches, seeing over 2 inches of rain, and even getting over an inch of rain. Just within a short time, that storm has moved out there. Joe?
Yeah, there's when you come back over here, you'll notice a red polygon. There's a tornado warning that is it's east of the Local 5 coverage area. So if you guys are still listening in the booth, we do not need to cut into programming for this. This is east of us. But just I know growing up here, I know that many of us have family and friends located in all kind of different portions of the state. So, we're thinking of everyone in the path of this line of storms as it continues moving through and pushing through eastern Iowa. And clearly that threat is not over with this. It still continues at a very strong rate, this line. But for central Iowa, we still have the flash flood warning back to the west, including Creston. And we'll continue to watch for maybe some localized issues in that regard. If you know of, especially across southern Iowa, if you know parts of the town that you're in or the city that you reside in, that flood typically on a day like today where there is some heavy rainfall coming down, do know that that is likely areas that are prone to that, likely are seeing it, just given how much moisture we have in the atmosphere for just all the rain to fall from these storms. Again, we are ever so close to being able to fully wrap things up for central Iowa, but we're not there just yet. Want to continue to have a look at this area here, Appanoose, Davis counties under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45. This is moving slower, which is why I'm more concerned about some prospects for some localized flooding problems to start to come about a little bit more. So something to watch for there for sure. But also, I want to get a look at the velocity, see if there is anything that shows up in terms of wind. We are very far from the radar site. Any radar site here. This is a bit of a radar hole, kind of in once you get down into this area. We're not close to Des Moines radar site. We're not super close to the Davenport site. So the data can sometimes get a little bit muddled and does not show up as clearly. But what I can say is that we're likely seeing some gusty winds with this severe warned storm. But maybe not to the extent that some locations saw this morning, which was wind gusts, above 70 miles per hour in several different locations. So it's something that we'll continue to monitor and be with you here on We Are Iowa Plus and the We Are Iowa app. Until things are fully wrapped up, we do want to stick with you And I've said it a couple times now, and I'll say it again. We are very close to that point. Just Logan, we're just not quite there yet, and we want to continue to be with you until this is fully wrapped up.
Yeah, I was just looking at some flooding stuff quick, graphics, just see if they load. But right now, taking a look at some of the flooding here right now, we do have a couple river observation places that are actually in the yellow. So they're in that action stage in terms of rainfall. So one of the ones we're looking at here, let me get this popped up, back up again. I was going to get that all set up there, but some of them actually have a forecast. So this shows the present river levels at the moment. These green dots mean no flooding right now. The action stage is yellow, which we do have a couple of. And then over near Davenport, we do have an orange at the moment. So we have that minor flooding. But some of these are getting up into that forecasted for some potential minor flooding, especially in portions near Grinnell. But I'll take a look at some of these rivers over here. So Sheraton River near Sheraton getting up to about 18 feet right now, could get up to about 19 feet, so about 3 feet above that action stage. So if you know your flood number, take precautions if you know what that number is and if you're under that number. So getting about to 19 feet in that action stage. I'll take a look at some others around here. Cedar Creek near Bussey getting up to about 22 feet in terms of depth in Cedar Creek. And then I'll take a look. There's actually one here in Des Moines that's supposed to get up to that action stage about, they're predicting about 7 p.m. heading into tomorrow at 8.2 feet near the Raccoon Rivers at Des Moines Fleur Drive. So we're starting to see some impacts of flooding coming through that area there, Joe.
Yeah, that's great info to bring up there, Logan. Thanks so much for sharing that. Do want to make mention here in Monroe County. So this includes Albia. Has been some reports of some minor flooding kind of going on there. Let me give you the exact report. So multiple flood-related secondary road closures, creeks and small streams were running near Bankful due to last night's rainfall. And this morning's intense rain has pushed some of those that were swelled to its banks over the edge. So that's going on in Monroe County. No flash flood warning, but there is an aerial flood warning there. So do be aware that you may run into some of those problems. And also, we do have photos from the Dallas Fire Department. And thank you guys for pulling those up. So this is Dallas Center Fire Department. Oh gosh, that is a pretty large portion of that tree that came down there. Looks like some other larger branches and coming off of some of those big trees, and those are such beautiful trees too. You hate seeing that, but there's again just more and more evidence that we're getting in this morning that just how strong this line was. So we're going to continue to stick with you here on stream through this severe thunderstorm warning that's moving through Appanoose County right now. We'll be moving through Davis County. This is a much slower moving cell, much slower moving. We are talking storm speed getting up to 45 miles per hour. That's how fast to the east that it's moving. So it's still moving at a decent pace. It's just it's just not quite as fast as what we saw with the line when it was really racing through Central Iowa. I mean, we're talking about this line moving at a pace that, on a 2-lane highway, get pulled over by police, 65 miles per hour. I mean, it's just crazy to hear about that. But, oh boy, this is from last night in Iowa County. That's not it's not good to see. But it was from storms last night. Looking at some pictures that we just got in from one of our reporters, JD Snover. So this has been quite the mess of a morning, to say the least. It's been a pretty ugly morning in central Iowa. And so with all the damage reports that we've gotten in, so far to this point in the morning, just be aware of that. If you want to go out and look at the damage right now, allow a little bit more time. Allow emergency crews to get out there and do the most important type of cleanup with some of the larger areas of damage. Just give a little time and allow for that to happen so that they have all the room that they need to get that work done and to keep streets as clear as possible throughout so many different communities that saw the worst of it this morning. So, Logan, we are ever so close here that we'll be able to stand down completely for this morning's severe weather event. But again, as long as this continues to show the strength that it's got. In fact, before coming back over to you, Logan, I want to look at hail. It looks like, thankfully, and hopefully it stays this way, the largest hail's down across the border and down around Unionville, Missouri, not in Appanoose County. So we'll keep an eye on it, but really hope that trend continues and that larger hail doesn't move up into Appanoose and Davis County. Dealt with a lot there in the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to also take a look at what the models are saying for the future part here once it wants to load. We could see it's just that afternoon round heading to 11 to 12 could be some chances for some more severe thunderstorm warnings. Some portions up in Ames, Carroll through Waterloo. Could see that as a possibility, even heading into the afternoon time frame. A little concerned about potentially for more tornadoes down in southeastern Iowa and portions of the Quad Cities as well. But that one's going to be a very small window, at least for here. I would expect maybe 2 o'clock, maybe like 1:30 over until 5. And that's still, I'd say, a pretty good pocket of time between that. But that's something we are going to be looking at as this tornado warning for portions of southern and eastern Iowa is going to be until 3 p.m. for today. I don't think they have canceled any counties yet for that severe thunderstorm watch, but we still do have this. Severe thunderstorm watch still has about 40 minutes left on it, and then we transition over into this tornado watch until 3, Joe.
Yeah, not too much longer to go with this severe thunderstorm warning. It does look like it will continue, I believe, at last check. 9:45 is the expiry time of this one in Appanoose and Davis County. Yes, it is, and it still hasn't changed. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, which is severe criteria wind gusts, hail as less than an inch in diameter. So hail, not the greatest concern. We actually just had a look at that a minute ago. Largest hail is happening farther south across the border into Missouri, not in Appanoose County at the very moment. So continuing to keep an eye on this one, and we'll stay with you on stream here as long as we deem necessary and what is needed for coverage. Just double checking everything here, make sure I'm not missing anything that I can pass along to you all. And so I think we're getting to a point here, Logan, especially I want to keep it here for just a couple more minutes. I want to see if there are any reports that end up start coming out of Appanoose and Davis counties, but we're getting really close to the point here where I think we can, start wrapping up. But Logan, I'll send it back. I'll send it back your way here.
We do have about 2 quick VOs and a quick full screen of some damage.
Yeah.
We'll bring that up. We'll bring that up quick.
Yeah, would love to see that on stream here and show folks. So this is in Boone. This is from Dawn. Dawn, thank you for sending this in. That's a couple of very large branches there that came down from that tree. And gosh, hopefully, I'm sure there were worse spots. Yeah, that's a worse spot for sure. This is another one. We've gotten a couple things in from Alexis Stewart in Corning, and that's I don't remember seeing that one, that video there at the start. So Corning took a pretty good hit. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough damage right there. So Corning, one community that looks like it was pretty heavily impacted by this line of storms, and now that we've now that we've got have been able to show that this is also in Corning, which is if you don't know, in Adams County. This is from Dan Boswell. Looks like a building there downtown sustained damage from this. Now, it is too early and too tough to say whether that was tornado or straight line winds. And to be honest with you all, at this point, it could have been either or. There were likely some quick spin ups all within that line as it was moving through to go along with straight line winds. So this is a situation where we might see things take a little bit or take a little while for the National Weather Service to really get out and do some of their storm damage surveys. It might take a little while just because sometimes it can be very hard until they are actually on the ground and present in person. It can be tough to gauge whether damage was from straight line winds or from a tornado because both of the damage that can be produced by both of those can look very similar at times.
Yeah, we did get a new storm report too. I'll bring up all the storm reports over the past 12 hours. We saw a lot of storm reports, especially just starting over. This was a long moving storm. It started over in Kearney. That's what we saw in Kearney over a lot of the hail, and it's definitely just stayed on I-80. So definitely a tough drive over from Kearney, heading through York and even into Lincoln as well. Hail up to about 2.5 inches was actually recorded there. And there was a tornado debris signature, which did prompt a confirmed tornado east of Weeping Water, Nebraska. Then we started seeing it translate over into Iowa, staying now south of I-80 instead of on it. We saw a lot of wind reports that we're going to have hopefully some articles for you as well, and a lot of hail reports throughout that time through. But one of the new ones is over in Marysville, 1 mile east-northeast in Marion County. Portions of Utah Drive northeast of Iowa Highway 5 near Cedar Creek are closed due to flooding if you are going to be around these sides. And one of the National Weather Service employees said on the backside of some of these storms that we're going to be seeing here, I'll bring up this up here, they're going to be seeing a wake low develop. Now what that is, it's going to be some northeasterly winds getting up to about 30 to 60 miles per hour. So potentially could produce some more minor damages with like tree branches and other stuff. So the winds just aren't out of the picture just yet. I'll bring up a wind forecast as well. We're actually going to see the winds get stronger throughout the parts of the afternoon, potentially getting gusts back again up to about 40 miles an hour right now, 32 at about 3. But after that, winds are going to subdue back into about the low teens during that time. So still going to be gusty throughout the beginning of the day, but I think we're going to wrap it up here soon. Just some things to keep note. This isn't going to be the only round of severe weather today. I'll bring up some quick graphics and then we'll call it a day here. So today's outlook, it actually did get upgraded to a moderate risk for severe weather once it wants to load. That's going to be for portions of, I think it's a little bit outside our area, but we're still in an enhanced risk for today. Pretty sharp cutoff, though, as we get to Creston. We have that marginal risk, and it goes straight over to an enhanced. And this is where we're going to be seeing the bulk of severe weather over in that Quad Cities through Chicago. And then some of the bigger risks. Hail was this morning. It's going to be on the smaller side, but tornadoes, especially on that line there over the afternoon, that can develop, especially since now these storms move faster, could give the atmosphere more time to recover and allow for those storms to set up even better. And wind is also one of the top threats, as we've seen earlier today. There's a very high risk for severe winds going across the entirety of almost northern Illinois. Now, hail has the lowest chance of any severe mode. It's just a very low one. So it's going to be a very wind-driven event. And then lastly, we'll just show you what the current model is showing in terms of what we're going to be seeing over today. So going ahead from this morning to the afternoon, there is a chance for some more severe weather in portions of northwest and northern Iowa near Ames. This is what we have at about 11. Looks like the model finally updated, so we'll see what the new rounds say. Potentially could see some of that severe weather down there in Ottumwa again before it starts making a line heading to about 3 p.m. It's going to be out of our local 5 viewing area, but I think we'll still keep you covered just in case, especially with Ottumwa there. But it's going to be short-lived, heading to about 5 o'clock. It's going to be working its way outside of Iowa into Illinois. But the nice thing, I will say, Joe, is tomorrow it looks to be nice and sunny and very not muggy. So, we had a lot of severe weather today, but we're going to be seeing a pretty nice way to end the week heading into tomorrow. Temperatures getting into the low 80s, low humidity, a lot of sunshine. But we do have another chance heading into Saturday for some more severe weather coming into the area. But I think that's going to wrap it up. So I have both of us on screen here. I'm meteorologist Logan Schlottman. Thank you for joining us on air and also on the We Are Iowa app for our extended severe weather coverage for this morning. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. It's only 9:27. The day is still getting started, getting into the afternoon and the evening time, and hopefully it's a good one.